Yes, indeed. It's Saturday night, so you know what it is. It's Saturday night. Shoot the breeze. I want to thank everyone who participated last week. Thanks to the few of you who posted post live stream conversations, comments to have conversations with. By the way, if you're not on the Discord, you should be. Join the Discord. Have your Shoot the Breeze topics discussed when you post them. Trigabi262 Plus tried to engage with folks who were on the panel last week. If he added you, make sure to try to respond to what Trigger said to you, as well as Kofi and others who tried to get some conversations going on the Discord. But thanks to you guys who tuned in during the show, during the live, and those who tuned in after. If you notice, the numbers for that live, pretty good, like double what we usually get. So I think certain things are working in our favor. So, shout out to us for doing that. With that said, let's talk about what we got going on tonight. Tonight, we're going to look at a lady's discussion of Black women. So a Black woman talking about Black women. We're going to ask, is this lady gaslighting Black women? We're going to talk about how the revolution is epistemic. We're going to talk about how Burkina Faso implemented a new family code and try to understand why can't interracial relations also be banned, right? We're going to look at a scenario. The prompt simply says, is this true? I can't remember what that prompt was, but that reminds me when you submit a prompt, I add a little context to the prompt as well. And then lastly, we're going to look at a story on the clash of worldviews. So that's what we have in store tonight. If you would like to join the panel, click the link that's pinned to the top of the chat. If you're not on the Discord, click the link that's in the description. Join the Discord today, and you can start posting your Shoot the Breeze topics as well. Shout out to War Drum in the chat. I didn't ask if anyone can hear me, but I'm guessing you can. War Drum says FBA got detained in Chicago. I was talking about Bakari earlier. He told me that a Black woman was actually killed by ICE in Chicago. So not good stuff. But remember, a lot of Black folks voted for Trump. A lot of Black folks voted the couch as well. Kamala wasn't Black enough for some of us. And I'm not one of those who really think Kamala is Black, but she would have been better, in my opinion, than Trump. But here we are. Trump is setting his people in people's houses. You know what I mean? War Drum said it correctly. The FBA did this. So shout out to them. In any event, let's start the show officially. And on the other side, I'll drop Shoot the Breeze topic number 1, as well as introduce any and all of my panelists. So please stay tuned.
You are listening to the Bitter Medicine Podcast on KWAC Radio. Welcome to the Bitter Medicine Podcast, where it's all about Black empowerment. Our show focuses on Black news and entertainment, arts, science, economics, history, people, and strategies that uplift, empower, and motivate Africans within the diaspora. And now your host, whose favorite color is black, Goku.
Welcome back to the Bitter Medicine Podcast. I am your host, Koku. Just want to remind you guys before we get the show rolling that this show is part of a podcast network called KWAZ Radio. There are other shows on the network you are invited to tune into.
This is D Webb with the Harsh Reality Podcast, asking you to tune in where we tackle the news of the day that affects our community, only on KWAZ Radio.
Peace, family. This is Oni, inviting you to listen to the pro-Black perspective, where Black problems are addressed with Black solutions.
Greetings, fam. Tune in to The Learning Curve with me, the Revolutionary Matron on KWAZ Radio.
You are listening to the Bitter Medicine Podcast on KWAZ Radio.
Yes, indeed. Make sure you're also tuned in to Kofi the Black Critic. He did a 2-part series this week, or basically Ask Me Anything or Ask Kofi Anything. I saw a few of you in the chat. A couple of you guys went up on stage. So, kudos to Kofi. Make sure you check him out. Check out the Forecast Radio. He's always doing his thing every week with Consider Cheek. So make sure you check both of them out. And of course, Brother Bakari with the BBN Net. Check him out as well. All right, so far I have two panelists with me. Let me introduce them. First off is Jacadero. All right, maybe Jacadero's not at the.
I'm here. You're just your network is cutting you in and out, but I'm here. Appreciate it, and glad to be here. Thanks, Coco.
Oh, I appreciate that. Mike, I was listening to the playback of last week's episode, and it was kind of choppy on my end. I noticed. I don't know what's that about, but I appreciate you letting me know. Hopefully it's not too bad. With that said, let's welcome in Black Steel. How are you this week?
I'm hanging in there, Coco. How about yourself?
Hanging in there as well, man. Thanks for coming through. With that said, we got Trigger Ivy 262 Plus in the chat. Just for a general reminder, I know he added some of you guys on the Discord to continue some commentary. If you don't mind, oblige him with your comments or replies. Shout out to the matron. The matron is still doing the work that she's doing. Make sure you guys are subscribed and tuned in to the matron as well. Without further ado, let's get this show rolling. Let me drop Shoot the Breeze topic number 1 this week. Shoot the Breeze topic number 1 says, is this lady gaslighting Black women for dollars? This comes with a link that's going to take us to YouTube. Let me make sure you guys can see my screen. Yeah, my computer is running funny. But this is a short or reel. So we'll watch it. We'll watch it twice if need be, and then we'll discuss it.
The sisterhood seems to need a reality check, so I guess I'll be the one to give it to you. First of all, you're not desirable. Let's start there. You have horrible attitudes, and you behave like animals. Not to mention your own men don't want you, and when they do sleep with you, they leave you, and you breed destruction because your womb is cursed. You care more about aesthetic and Gucci, Louis, and Prada than you care about your children and making sure your children can read, and at the very least, making sure they're safe. This is why they're laid out in the streets. And do I have to add that your children are killing each other? Amazing. Y'all are the main ones that promote dysfunction. You support Sexy Red as she sell your children yellow discharge and gonorrhea lip glosses. Do I need to continue? And then you have the nerve to complain about Black men when you're the ones that's raising them. And when they raise children by themselves, they do a hell of a better job than you do. And then you have the nerve to shame Black men when you guys are doing God knows what for money behind closed doors. You're poisoning their children. And you are just dysfunctional all the way around. And the fact that you think that your aesthetic changes your mentality is amazing. And if you just see how you and your children act on social media in the real world, just all the way around, it is disgusting because you are disgusting. And do I have to mention that you guys lead in everything that is negative: STDs, abortion, obesity, single motherhood, and you think you're smarter than everybody else when you're the dumbest group in America? And y'all swear everyone wants to be like y'all, but y'all just really want to be like white women, which you will never be. The sisterhood seems to need a reality check, so yes, I'll be the one to give it to you. First of all, you're not desirable. Let's start there. You have horrible attitudes and you behave like animals. Not to mention, your own men don't want you, and when they do sleep with you, they leave you, and you breed destruction because your womb is cursed. You care more about aesthetic and Gucci, Louis, and Prada than you care about your children and making sure your children can read, and at the very least, making sure they're safe. This is why they're laid out in the streets. And do I have to add that your children are killing each other? Amazing. Y'all are the main ones that promote dysfunction. You support Sexy Red as she sell your children yellow discharge and gonorrhea lip glosses. Do I need to continue? And then you have the nerve to complain about black men when you're the ones that's raising them. And when they raise children by themselves, they do a hell of a better job than you do. And then you have the nerve to shame black men when you guys are doing God knows what for money behind closed doors. You're poisoning their children, and you are just dysfunctional all the way around. And the fact that you think that your aesthetic changes your mentality is amazing. And if you just see how you and your children act on social media in the real world, just all the way around, it is disgusting because you are disgusting. And do I have to mention that you guys lead in everything that is negative: STDs, abortion, obesity, single motherhood, and you think you're smarter than everybody else when you're the dumbest group in America? And y'all swear everyone wants to be like y'all, but y'all just really want to be like white women, which you will never be. The sisterhood seems to need a reality.
Well. Uh, Icon Fire did not post that, by the way. As I watched it, I remembered Icon Fire from last week. Shout out to him. Icon didn't post that. But Should Be Talk number one says, is this lady gaslighting black women? In the chat, our very own Black Steel said Bunny Ruckus. Black Steel, what say you to what you just saw?
I don't think she's so much gaslighting. I think she's just regurgitating every anti-black woman stereotype that exists, right? Um, I don't know who pissed in her cornflakes. I don't know what white man she's trying to get with, or maybe she's trying to make a name for herself on social media, because that's how you make your big bucks, is talking badly about black people, black men and black women. So when you gaslight somebody, it's psychological uh, attempt to make somebody doubt their reality, right? That's what. Yeah. But so we know what she's doing is just, maybe she might be trying to get a check. She might be on that Candace Owens type of stuff. Um, Everything she said was a generalization or a stereotype. The idea that black women's wombs are cursed is just ridiculous when white people have the declining birth rate. So whose womb is cursed? Um, the fact that black women lead in everything negative when white men make up the majority of the murderers, the sexual predators, the pedophile, bestiality, child pornography. How much longer can we go on here? I believe it's somebody who is just regurgitating again all the negative anti-black stuff, and it's profitable to do so. If you said you talk trash about black people, not only will white people want to listen to you, but black people want to listen to you too, because we have internalized and we have a lot of self-hatred towards ourselves. I believe it was Franz Fanon who said that the oppressed is always made to feel the worst about himself. So whenever we look at the effects of our condition of being in a racist society, right? Instead of us pointing out the fact that we live in a racist society and that our conditions are manufactured, it's easier to turn around and blame the victims of racism for their own condition. And that, I mean, That's to be understood, but I don't believe this woman is trying to do anything. Her words are not helpful, right? Her idea of giving the sisterhood a reality check is really just comes down. These bitches think they're too good for somebody. Let me break them down some. So this is where she comes in with all these anti-black, hateful comments she has. So no, I think maybe gaslight is not the term, but I do believe she is just really just saying the most vile, hateful things about black women because she knows it'll get her views. And the thing is with these type of situations with social media, any type of publicity is good publicity. Even when somebody hate watches your stuff, you're still getting views, you're still getting attention, and that could very well be her goal. If you could say, "Well, all these black women have STDs," right? You're gonna get a lot of people get angry about that. You're gonna bring out the racists who say that's right. You're gonna bring the black people who say, that's not right. But she's still getting the attention to her. The algorithm is still sending her attention. That's what a lot of these things are. A lot of these things are, as the kids say, rage bait, right? This is rage bait, what she's posting right now. She wants to get people riled up, either who support her or against her, and she can get some views and things like that. That's what partially what I think it is. I think she could very well believe these things. She could very well be a diehard, you know, um, sellout, buck dancing, butter biscuit eating coon. And she could believe all these negative things about black people. And if she does, and I mean, I'm glad she said it that way. We know to avoid her, but at the same time, I don't want her to try to pull a reach back when the shit blows up in her face. So that's just, I think it's just she could be. But the internet has given everybody a voice. There were some people who really have internalized hatred of black people, and the internet makes it very easy for them to spew their nonsense. But that doesn't mean that she's gaslighting. But I do believe that she is trying to get a check. And I think this is the way to go about it. Look at the Hodge twins. They got how many subscribers? Millions of subscribers. Before Fresh and Fit got taken down. Hell, Tommy Sotomayor before he got taken down. What's the one bitch? Damn, what's her name? The one who talking about black babies need to be aborted. Black boys. I can't think of Cynthia G, thank you. That demon, right? That demon talk about black men are dusty. From our DNA is just dusty. So we're just better off. We just don't exist, right? And it wasn't even a black person who took her channel down. It was a white woman who took her channel down. If it had been up to the so-called sisterhood of black people, she'd still be out here spewing her mess. So again, I think the thing about the dollars, I think that's right on point. And I think it's a sound strategy. In these tough economic times, there are going to be a lot more people saying that, but it's not going to save you. I hope black people know it's not going to save you from these crackers. At the end of the day, they'll put you, they'll hang you last, but you're still going to get hung. So I'll leave it there. Thanks, Koku.
Well put, Black Steel. But let me ask before I go to Jack. Let me ask you, Black Steel, because in many of these types of situations, there's a viewer or listener who sees exactly what she's talking about. In their mind's eye, they see what she's talking about. And you could pick, it's not just her, you could pick any of these Candace Owens. There's people who see and therefore agree with Candace Owens. What would you say to a person who feels like what this woman is saying, man or woman, what this woman is saying is absolutely true because they see it every day? What would you say to that?
I would tell them to expand I would tell them to expand their mindset, right? Perception is reality to some people, but the thing is the world is bigger than your perception of it. It's real easy to find negative stuff about black people because we live in an anti-black world. And I would say people who are viewing these things and coming to those conclusions are viewing through an anti-black lens. Because if we're gonna keep it a buck, there's plenty of dysfunction to go around in the white community. But yet we never seem to see that, right? So if you want to talk negative about black people, I'm gonna bring up the stats about white people. Who's leading in child abuse? Who's leading in child pornography? Who's leading in bestiality? who's leading in homicide, robbery, theft. Who makes a think about how we conceptualize criminality. If a black person steals $100 from a grocery store, he's a thug, he's a criminal. But a white person can steal $100 million from your 401k and he gets a promotion. You know, it's really how we view black people, as if we are inherently bad. And if you see a black person who's not bad, he's an exception. White people are inherently good. If you see a white person who's not good, he's an exception, right? So to somebody who holds these views, I would merely point out the reality of the facts that black people are the ones doing all the killing and the raping and the murder and the genocide. That's not black people. That's what I would do if I choose to engage them.
No,
a lot of times I just choose to engage them.
Now, Black Steel, some people might say, what does the white statistics, or pointing out what white folks do, matter when we're talking about community building and you know, trying to thrive as a black population wherever we are. And you know, someone might say, listen, we're trying to crack down on the problems that we see every day in our community. What white folks do doesn't so much matter to us until it does, so to speak. We're trying to clean up our community. What would you say to that?
I don't believe this woman was trying to clean up her community, though. What she was trying to do was to shame and degrade black women. That's what she was trying to do. And I think sometimes we have to understand that these things about we want to clean up our community has to be taken with a grain of salt, because there's a lot of good in our community. There's a lot of people who are doing great things in the community, but they never see it. They never see the people who are trying to stop the violence. They never see the people who are creating youth programs and opening schools for the kids. They never see the people who are, you know, open up community gardens and helping out their neighbors. They never see that. They always see the negative, hateful things about black people because they themselves hate black people. When you talk about being conscious of being Pan-African, I think the number one thing you have to do, you have to love black people. And I think that's missing from a lot of these people who criticize us. Is everything negative? They don't love black people. They feel, again, this woman said black women's wombs are cursed. That's not coming from a place of love. That's not coming from a place of concern about the community. That's coming from a place, I hate y'all black niggas. That's where that's coming from. And I'm gonna remind you why you're hated. That's what this is. But when I bring up white people, I only to contrast what black people are doing. It's simply to really put some perspective on things. People think black people literally lead the world in everything bad. Everything. And when you point out the fact that no, we don't, then they want to say, well, we're not talking about white people. Why not? Why aren't we talking about white people? Maybe we should talk more about white people. That's what I would say.
Very thorough there, Black Steel. Very thorough. I wasn't trying to grill you, by the way. I just was playing that devil's advocate.
Oh, no, I appreciate that.
Yeah, I've heard this conversation before where, and in particular, a lot of black conservatives like to pull that conversation of, you know, why you focus on what white folks do? Let's focus on what we're doing, what's happening amongst ourselves. And I've heard, and you know, there was a time when I could have actually probably said I could see some of these things because we tend to hyper focus on the negativity, like Black Steel said. We don't focus on the positive. We don't focus on the people, like Black Steel said, who are carrying out community gardens and carrying out karate workshops and all this kind of stuff, you know. So I just wanted to ask that, just to kind of flesh it out. So for those who might feel that way. That was real good, Black Steel. So with that said, let's hear what Jacadero says. By the way, shout out to Buana, because he said he'll be here in 10 minutes. I don't know if he'll be on this topic in 10 minutes, but let's see what Jacadero can do. Jack, what's it?
Yeah, it sucks because, you know, she's a good looking woman. Like I low key, I was in and out of what
Stop thinking with your dick. Damn. Stop thinking with your dick.
I'm just saying,
Jesus.
but as I was watching this, I was like, man, she looked good. So it sucks that she has to have an attitude and a viewpoint like this. But and if you could get her at, for research purposes, you let me know. But is she gaslighting? Absolutely. Most of the time when you find individuals like this, whether they're conservative viewpoint or hardcore Christians or whatever it is, right? You find that these people have a course to sell, a whole course. Like I'd almost guarantee that if you go to her, whether it's her Instagram or her YouTube, it's connected to some link that has a course, and it's probably, filled with nonsense, and it's probably like, for $2,000, I'll tell you to brush your teeth and make your bed every morning. This is how you're going to get a man. It's just really repetitive. Go to church on Sunday. It's like, you needed to pay $2,000, and then they always want to upsell the course. The course is followed by like a trip, like, and then it's like a boot camp, like how to get a man in 6 months or in 2 years, and then they put you through a boot camp that you pay for. The boot camp is probably $7,000, and it's to somewhere like Costa Rica. And you think like you're gonna get the education of a lifetime, but you're just filling the bank account of somebody else. So, is she gaslighting? Yeah, absolutely, she's gaslighting. She actually reminds me, Koku. I know that this is your show, but I want to share. She reminds me of this guy right here. If anybody knows who this guy is, this guy.
Fucking guy.
This guy.
This fucking Anton Daniels. Oh my God.
This guy. Black Steel, this guy. She reminds me of this guy because as much as he likes to entertain the idea that, he's making us better, he's making us smarter, he's making us more aware, all these things, it's all in bad taste. And this is the reason on why individuals like him and her do that. Here it is. Are you guys ready for it? It's because it gets views. When you talk negatively about Black people, I mean, you could apply this with like a lot of races, right? Because Indians, again, this is not me sympathizing, but I'm just stating like what I've just seen. And, Indians also get a good grunt of it. But when you insult Black people on the internet, bro, the views go up. You'll start to see a creator that you've watched, and it will always be somebody that's into personal fitness or finances, and they'll just start off personal business or finance, and that'll be their content. And then one thing in the political or socio-political atmosphere will happen, and they'll give their viewpoint, and let it be Black adjacent. They'll give their viewpoint, and all of a sudden they won't stop. All of a sudden, every other video from then on becomes a whole teardown of the Black community. And it's because it just brings views. Now, are they saying to themselves like, hey, well, I wasn't doing so good by just talking about money and talking about exercise, so let me go ahead and just harp on Black people? Maybe, but I will say that when you talk great about Black people, how often do you see that? Like just in your guys' own YouTube algorithms, Instagram algorithms, TikTok algorithms, how often is it that you guys are getting something that showcases Black people in an awesome light, or just finding somebody that says, hey, good morning, Black people. Good morning, Black woman. Good morning, Black man. I love you. I love the skin that you have. I love the full lips that you have. I love the fact that from the deep dark melanin to like the lightest brown hue, I love that about you. And all those things. It's very, at least for me, it's very, very rare. And I've built up all my algorithms to a point where I don't see any other races. But the stuff that I get is just total, it's tough. It's nonsense. So I want to say that keep in mind that the reason why Koku, you were sent this from probably somebody submitting this, is because it ended up in the algorithm, and that wasn't by accident. You know, these are topics, and again, this is not new. I think Black exploitation films of like the 70s, I believe, right? They were, you know, they were in bad taste, and I don't know if they were getting viewed or if they were getting their return back on money, nonetheless. But it was a lot of like that type of movies that moved. And then even in the comedy world, right? Like the old time comedians, Richard Pryor, you know, Eddie Murphy had that famous line about, you know, bringing a girl or dating an African girl. Eddie, why you treat me like animal? And he's like, you know, I just met you. Didn't you just come from the bush yesterday? I think is how he follows it up. You know, these type of things, it projects and just pushes that person into whatever level that they want to be at. It's sad that they decide to go along with that. But there is stuff to counter this, you know, always, whenever you can, either counter it with some good stuff or just ignore it, you know, just tell the algorithm, like, I don't want to see this stuff. But yeah, again, it sucks that, you know, she's as good looking as she is. And, you know, she has that negative stuff to say, man.
Jacadera, for you, I'll let you know. In fact, I'll tag her when I clip this. She goes by Carmen Jace or JC. Carmen Jaycee. So you let us know how that go, okay?
I appreciate it. We'll get her at the network, huh?
With that said, thanks, Jacadera, for that. But before I go on to Buana, who's here now, you're right. You and Black still spot on, man. The algorithms never give, like, the algorithms probably never show the Bitter Medicine podcast or any of the shows on KWAZ radio. They probably never come up because, you know, there's this term shadow ban where you can find us if you look us up, but you probably won't come across one of our videos randomly on YouTube or whatever, which is also room for another conversation. Like, we got to start getting into technology a little bit heavier, and whereas we could create these algorithms ourselves. You know, I never forget, before I ever went on TikTok, I remember a guy, I think it was an Arab guy too, was talking about how, like, in China, where TikTok comes from, they don't get the nonsense, the dances and all that stuff, from what I understand. They get like science and philosophy and all that kind of stuff, but we get the nonsense, you know what I mean? It's very, very interesting that we haven't cracked that yet and created a platform where the algorithm, you know, allows for more positive things, you know? With that said, man, in the chat, KW Don 7 says there's been a lot of soft shoe cooning by Negroes since the Charlie Kirk deletion. That's interesting. Trigger Happy 262 Plus says, I do think criticism levied against Black women can happen in a better and good faith manner, just not the way she approached it. Black conservatives don't ever conserve Black traditions. Lastly, KW Don 7 said Anton Daniels bought a Tesla Cybertruck, shaking my
and again, this is good. He just said it right. Whether Antoine bought it with, you know, his 9 to 5, because he is an IEIU or EX. He's into like software development or like website design. So whether that he got that from us is not the, you know, the biggest thing. The biggest thing though is that there are other creators who are making a living just off of, right? It's shock jock, right? There was a time where literally let's call him Charlemagne the Minimum, right? From the Breakfast Club. He made a living off of just being a caricature, and it got him to these levels that you see now. again, it's up to each and every one of us to say or put out these messages. Tell our younger brothers, tell our younger sisters, you don't have to entertain this stuff. This lady said blatantly, like, yo, your guys' poom poom is cursed. Are you serious? Like, come on. Like, what are we talking about? Anytime that somebody says something like that, it should immediately go off to us to be like, okay, I'm not gonna listen to you. Black Steel brought up like the Hodge twins. I used to watch their funny thing is Black Steel, I used to watch their content for exercise. And I stopped just because, you know, it got to a point where, hey, like, you've seen enough videos, you're just gonna, you know, you should be able to like get in the gym and know what you're doing now. Then years later, I see them, and now they're doing the absolute most on the internet. And it's like, how did you get to this point? How? Again, it pays though, you know, but just because it pays, it doesn't mean that it's good.
All right, so I'm going to play the video one more time, but before I do it, because Juan just came up, I just want to read some of the comments. It says, I'll never get tired of hearing this woman speak the truth. Someone else says, as a black man, it's rare to see a black queen like yourself. It's tiring hearing other black women thinking they are better than everyone else. Someone says, you got to stop holding back, Carmen. Let it go. A black woman here named Black Dutchie says the bonnet, lashes, the fighting over men, and furry slides. Tell them, young soul. So she has some people who follow it. Let me play it one more time because Bonner's here now, and then we'll discuss.
The sisterhood seems to need a reality check, so yes, I'll be the one to give it to you. First of all, you're not desirable. Let's start there. You have horrible attitudes and you behave like animals. Not to mention, your own men don't want you, and when they do sleep with you, they leave you, and you breed destruction because your womb is cursed. You care more about aesthetic and Gucci, Louis, and Prada than you care about your children and making sure your children can read, and at the very least, making sure they're safe. This is why they're laid out in the streets. And do I have to add that your children are killing each other? Amazing. Y'all are the main ones that promote dysfunction. You support Sexy Red as she sell your children yellow discharge and gonorrhea lip glosses. Do I need to continue? And then you have the nerve to complain about black men when you're the ones that's raising them. And when they raise children by themselves, they do a hell of a better job than you do. And then you have the nerve to shame black men when you guys are doing God knows what for money behind closed doors. You're poisoning their children, and you are just dysfunctional all the way around. And the fact that you think that your aesthetic changes your mentality is amazing. And if you just see how you and your children act on social media, in the real world, just all the way around, it is disgusting because you are disgusting. And do I have to mention that you guys lead in everything that is negative: STDs, abortion, obesity, single motherhood, and you think you're smarter than everybody else when you're the dumbest group in America? And y'all swear everyone wants to be like y'all, but y'all just really want to be like white women, which you will never be. The sisterhood seems to need a reality check, so yes.
One of the questions I would like to ask Carmen is what sets her different from the sisterhood? By the way, Daily Affirmation by Pauline says, good evening. I Can Fire must have heard his name call. He says, play the video again. I didn't hear it. What sets Carmen aside? But Juana, you've seen and heard everything everyone else had to say. What say you to all of it? First of all, how are you this week?
I'm good. I'm glad. I'm glad to hear from y'all brothers, man. Y'all guys sound good. The reason why I put this prompt up is Jacadell is right in some of the things he say. I was listening to him, but I put the prompt up because I thought it would make a good discussion. But Jacadero and you, Koku, y'all said that it's important to understand the technology. I didn't. You know what? I didn't understand what rage baiting was. And then when I kind of like got an understanding what rage baiting was, I said, oh, this is what Tariq them must be doing. Like, because it because really and truly that attracts a lot of people. It provokes people, and people rage. They hate watch these kinds of things. And what's the name now? The sister from the Caribbean, the black lady. I can't remember her name now. The pretty lady, very pretty lady. She's in all these political circles. Conservative woman.
Wait. Candace Owens is
Candace Owens.
Caribbean?
Well, her background, somewhere in her background, I heard that somewhere.
Oh, okay.
But I was saying to myself, oh, Candace Owens, this is what they doing. And it just really dawned on me. They rage bait. And that is an actual term. That is an actual term. So I say, okay, that's what these people are doing. And they get a because she's a pretty girl. She could sell her beauty, and she's selling to the conservative crowd the nonsense that she was spewing. So I say, oh, I got it now. I got it. But let me say this too. When you open your mouth, you tell the world who you are. Okay? Now, sometimes, and I can't discount people experiences. Sometimes when brothers and sisters come on this panel, we are expressing what have experienced in life. Okay? Now, maybe this woman, it's possible. Maybe because it's possible she could be sincere in what she's saying. I doubt it, but it's possible. So I'll speak to her the possibility. Maybe the people she's encountered in her lifetime fits the characteristics of all the things she's talking about. Because we can't ignore that. I tell Brother Bakari sometimes to see both sides. See both sides to a conversation. Yes, there are wonderful the women in our lives that we would have met. They are wonderful women. They contributed to our lives. Nothing what this lady was saying kind of resonated with what we found, what we discussed. But there's some other brothers who come on for the panel. I'll keep their names unmentioned. They consider some women to be state property. They state property. They do fit into the characteristics of the ladies that this woman is mentioning. And I can't ignore their experience as well. And we can't ignore the fact that, yes, she is right when it comes to the characteristics that she was mentioning. Some black women, whether we want to admit that or not, do fit these characteristics. Unfortunately, some. But I always say some. And based on our experience, we're going to see the world like that. Let me also say this too. Sometimes when a person opens their mouths, they project. They project, like Donald Trump. Donald Trump is tell you all the things he internalizing with himself onto other people. A lot of right-wing racists do that too. When they talk about black folks in the black community, they're really speaking about themselves, but they would never admit that because sometimes we run away from ourselves. So we basically project it onto others. But the reason why I put this on is the reason it really made me laugh. The reason I put this on is not everyone is one thing all the time. I always say this thing that black people are not a monolith. Just as you have good women, like Urzuli say, Queen Keisha's out there, just like how you have great women out there who've been commendable in their actions and their deeds and all these other things, you do have groups of women who fit these stereotypes. And we have to address both of these people if we want to have a real conversation with our community, if we want to have a real conversation. So this is the reason why sometimes I don't run away from some tough conversations, especially from some quarters, some brothers who go hard on the women. I don't run away from them conversations. In fact, I embrace them because I know if you want to be a well-rounded individual, you have to accept the good with the bad as well. But that's what I wanted to say to this point.
Buana, what makes this woman any different from a white supremacist? Besides the fact that Jack Adele wants to fuck her.
Because what she is doing, I believe, and Jack Adele believes, and I believe she's doing this specifically for money. and rage baiting. I
Come
think
on,
that.
Black
I
Steel.
think the
I agree.
reason.
I agree.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think that she really feels. I don't personally think she really feels this way, and I could be wrong. So I have to address that as well. I have to
But
address
why
that as
is
well.
it everyone talks about, oh, she's holding black people accountable, and then it's every negative stereotype about black people? Well, y'all eat fried chicken and watermelon, and you don't take care of your kids, and your womb is. Who says their womb is cursed? Like, we
It's
got white
horrible.
women raising up school shooters and rapists, but the black woman's womb is cursed. Get the fuck out of here.
Yes, but let's address it then, Black Steel. Let's address it. Let's address some of the things you say. If you
Everything
say,
doesn't need, but here, you know what? Here's why I disagree with you. Everything
okay,
does need to be addressed. When you start,
okay,
when you come, I believe when you come as somebody in good faith, we can address that.
yes,
But when you're up
okay.
here regurgitating anti-black stereotype, I don't got to address that. Get the fuck out my face.
Okay.
I'm not
But
gonna
Black Steel,
debate or argue my humanity with somebody. And that's exactly what
sure,
she's doing.
sure. But this me and you talking now. I ain't talking about her. This me and you talking. What if some of the things she is saying is factual? What if? What if? Just what if? I try to get you to make you about it. What if?
I would argue are black people in the condition that we're in because of our dysfunction, or are we, or is our condition, or is dysfunction causing our condition? Which one is it, the chicken or the egg? I mean, which one?
That's the answer. No, that's the answer. That's the answer. That's a reasonable answer. And you are right. You can't debate people who try to gaslight you in bad faith. But for the brothers who like Razuli, he call us a bunch of simps. I would like him to come up. But there's, like I say, there are some people. Anyways, I'll just leave it. I'll just leave it. But I'll leave it.
Hold on, Buana. Like, okay, Ozuli says that, we're some simps, right? He didn't give any names, but maybe he's talking about me, right? If this was Antoine Daniels on the screen instead of the lady, I'd still want to give Antoine Daniels a chance to also explain himself as well. Right? I'd still give him the respect just because he's black. Just off of the strength that he's black. That's what I'm doing with the sister. Just off of the strength that you're a woman, you're a black woman, you're going to speak about black women issues. Do you have a very terrible way of going at it? Absolutely. But does that make me a simp? I don't think so. Is she really good looking? Yeah, absolutely. But to say that I'm gonna take accountability away from her, no, I'm still putting her foot to the fire. If anybody can get in touch with her and bring her here, if anything, I would want to ask her, like, what
This is not a dating program, my friend. This is not a dating program.
No, stop.
But just like any other, right? Any other person, whether it's a man or a woman, any other person with her type of viewpoints, I want them on this show and be like, hey, like, what got you to this type of thinking? Right? Like, I know we don't like to use this example, guys, because, it's a touchy one for a lot of people, but Malcolm was robbing people at some point in his life, right? Malcolm was robbing. He was in prison at some point in his life.
We got to stop using Malcolm.
I know.
Here we
go. Yeah.
Malcolm's parents were Garveyites.
Yeah,
okay?
Did that save him from going to prison?
But he had the background though. He had something he could fall back on. Some of these people are coons. Their mama was a coon. Their daddy was a coon. Their grandma was a coon. Their great grandma tried to sell out Nat Turner. Some of these people, like Bakari said, we got to stop listening to these black white nationalists because they black. These people bring nothing of value. They hate being black.
Now
you
say this, but Malcolm was, in the words of Carlos Cooks, conking his hair. So if there was anybody that was a grade A coon at that time, Carlos Cooks would have been like, bro, it's this red, Detroit Red, this guy right here from Omaha, Nebraska. It's this guy. So I'm saying, do we not give people chances? When did we become such a people that we're like, you know what? Throw out the baby with the bathwater, all in by itself.
Black people are under attack, man. We are living through a renaissance of white supremacist nationalism. We do not have the time. It's too late in the day to be trying to convince people.
So, hello, everyone.
It's too late in the day. I'm sorry. If you haven't figured it out yet, go What did Dr. John Henry Clark say? If you go over there, you stay over there. You hate black people so much, go live over with white people, see how they treat you.
So hello everyone. Is it okay for me to jump in?
Just give me a second. I like to introduce people before they just jump in. But
course.
real quick, before I go to Aiken, let me just say that we do need to critique. Someone gotta close their mic. We do need to critique and hold our people accountable with his bad behavior. Though my question is, and I'm not looking for an immediate answer, but my question is, when do we do that? When is it okay? Because sometimes, I'll be honest with you guys, when we have these panels, sometimes it seems like it's never okay, especially when it's black women, to critique, to criticize, etc. So I just want to know, when do we do that? With that said, let's welcome an Aiken Fire this week. Aiken Fire, how are you this week?
Of course, man. Hello everyone. Respect to the host. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Oh yeah. Okay. Respect to everyone. I disagree with a whole lot of people on the panel. This lady is, of course, a bit disrespectful, but she is right. And then the thing with black people thin-skinned behavior is, when did tough love is not love? When seems tough love is not love. You feel me? And then hold on. Are you a friend if your friend is going astray and you don't say nothing? Are you a friend? Huh? And sometimes don't your friend need some tough love? Like hold on, don't be no good for nothing and you acting good for nothing and all that. It's a little rough, but there it is. You're not being a hypocrite. Now, seeing black women going down the drain, you feel me? And everybody pandering and don't want to tell her the offensive behavior that she's displaying is wrong, and it's wrong to her. She don't have nothing to thank you for after you let her go astray. You feel me? What I say is, of course, sometimes you have to be a little you have to have some discretion. You feel me? But when people is arrogant, sometimes you got to be blunt, and sometimes their arrogance is going to overrule how you gonna say anything to them, and sometimes you have to just loudly display it. And even if they wanna get mad or whatever, you say it. That mean they cannot say you never said it. You feel me? Not because they arrogant. That means they gonna stop you from talking. And some way in the future, those words might reconnect. But people got to hear that you are being dysfunctional. You feel me? Just like this lady is saying that she of course, black woman's womb is not cursed. You feel me? But if she keep producing bad stuff, it's like this. Christianity and white people have voodoo on us. Christianity is a main entity in the voodoo. You feel me? So what happened is, we are in a trance. We're in a trance, and it's getting worse and worse, because after Christianity is strippers, police, soldiers, the president. Everybody is Christian. The wickedest wicked is Christian. So don't make nobody trick you like this holy people is the Christian. No. And first of all, God not coming for nobody out of the sky. You feel me? So we have to straighten up ourselves. We can't wait for God to straighten us up. We have to straighten ourselves up. So that's one of the main things I'm be saying. I disagree with the dudes
being offensive and saying that the lady is like a black people hater. No. This is love. I think she's showing abundant love right now. You feel me? And then why people criticize the black man all the time, and feel free to criticize the black man about stuff, all type of stuff, and then in all type of ways, whether derogatory or intelligently, but everybody is offended about criticizing the black woman. She's getting away with keeping us colonized, and if we don't pay her attention, she gonna destroy us all. We have to make sure she's learned in black consciousness culture, so she's proud of her hair and she display it everywhere, so she's proud of her skin and she don't want to change it in any way, and she's proud of her race, so she don't be going around in every other race is bad. You feel me? All these things is to be addressed, and these things she can do it what you call voluntarily if she's raised that way. You feel me? So that's where I'm going. Thank you for your time.
So for those of you who agree with what she's saying, I want to know specifically what it is you agree with her on, because she sounds like Charlie Kirk. Basically, we was talking bad about Charlie Kirk when a black woman says it's okay. She's doing this out of love. So I want to know.
She never said that if she went in a plane and see black pilots, she would be. She would be. I didn't think he said that.
Hey, Coco, can you play the video again? Because I ain't gonna lie, I didn't hear it. I heard some of what Bawana say she said, and I heard Black.
Yeah, run that back, please. I want to know exactly
because I want to speak. Because I want to speak after I hear it. If that's okay, Coco.
I can't. You are funny, bro. I can't. You are hilarious.
Yeah, I got a Zuli here as well. So
no, bro,
it's being unjust. Play it, and then Brother Bukhari.
Bro, is being unjust. A whole black supremacist black woman you are referring to.
Hold up, man. He getting ready to play the video again. Wait a minute. He getting ready to play the video again, dude.
Okay.
First, Zuli, you saw the video, right?
Yeah, I saw the video.
Yeah. First of all, how are you doing this week?
I'm all right. I'm good.
All right.
I could talk. So
what they should play.
Yeah,
hold on. Everybody ain't see the video. You should play the video because Bakari ain't see it either. Cool.
This nigga gonna tell the man how to run his show. Ain't you in the Bahamas?
Let's play the video then. Give me one. Yeah.
We're a team.
It seems to need a reality check, so yes, I'll be the one to give it to you. First of all, you're not desirable. The sisterhood seems to need a reality check, so yes, I'll be the one to give it to you. First of all, you're not desirable. Let's start there. You have horrible attitudes and you behave like animals. Not to mention your own men don't want you, and when they do sleep with you, they leave you, and you breed destruction because your womb is cursed. You care more about aesthetic and Gucci, Louis, and Prada than you care about your children and making sure your children can read, and at the very least, making sure they're safe. This is why they're laid out in the streets. And do I have to add that your children are killing each other? Amazing. Y'all are the main ones that promote dysfunction. You support Sexy Red as she sell your children yellow discharge and gonorrhea lip glosses. Do I need to continue? And then you have the nerve to complain about Black men when you're the ones that's raising them. And when they raise children by themselves, they do a hell of a better job than you do. And then you have the nerve to shame Black men when you guys are doing God knows what for money behind closed doors. You're poisoning their children. And you are just dysfunctional all the way around. And the fact that you think that your aesthetic changes your mentality is amazing. And if you just see how you and your children act on social media, in the real world, just all the way around, it is disgusting because you are disgusting. And do I have to mention that you guys lead in everything that is negative: STDs, abortion, obesity, single motherhood, and you think you're smarter than everybody else when you're the dumbest group in America? And y'all swear everyone wants to be like y'all, but y'all just really want to be like white women, which you will never be. The
That's love, by the way. That's love.
sisterhood
That's love.
seems to
That's pure love.
Go, Azula. I can't wait to go after. I can't wait to after Azula. I got Azula. I told a couple weeks ago. I mean, we didn't argue. I said Azula been right about some shit, you know, until now. I just wanted to let you know that, Azula.
Could I say something? Hold on. Play. Look for a girl fight. 1 second. Look for girl fight and look for.
Hold on. Like I said, let me shout out to Sister Raw. Let me shout out to Forecast Radio. Let me shout out to Chuck Wu, who said that's tough love. Chuck Wu was on the panel a couple weeks ago when I wasn't here. Shout out to you guys. The matron, a Black woman, is saying she is speaking to one aspect of Black society, not all of Black society. She is specifically talking to and about whore culture. And I was going to get to that too, matron. I appreciate you reminding me of that. But in the meantime, I know Ike want to say something, but there's a flow here. I need Julie to speak, then Brother Bakari, and then everyone can have a conversation after that. And by the way, if you want to join the panel, just click the link at the top of the chat. Urzuli, what say you?
Hey, what's up, everybody? What I'm gonna say is this. What she's saying, the house is burning for us. The house is burning for Black people. There's no time for me to be nice to you and be like, hey, get your shoes on and come out. Nah, get your bitch ass up, let's go. We're not doing that. So what that lady's doing, yes, the first thing she said is rough, is rough, is rough. My issue with that is, if she didn't say that on YouTube and she said it in a room of Black people only, all these same people on here saying that she's wrong would have said the same thing. So this young lady right now, I think she's a conservative. I see some of her shows from time to time. Whatever she's just, I disagree with what the matron said, that she's talking to only one demographic, because they got doctors, Black women, they got lawyers, Black women, who support all that bullshit she's talking about. It's not about, let's just focus on the girls, the Black women in the hood, and the lawyer female, the doctor Black female, the lawyer Black female. They think the same way. No, I'm not gonna say all Black women or more, but I'm saying that a good majority of them do. And the brother said something, just because that lady, somebody criticizing you for your faults, is not hatred. That could be considered love. Bro, you messing up? Here it is, do this and do that. Granted that she said, okay, Black women wombs are polluted. She doesn't mean it like that. What she's talking about is a lot of even if you watch the statistics, when Black men raise their kids as single fathers, those kids come out great. There's a statistic that says that Black men are the most involved. Black fathers, out of all the race, are the most involved. By involvement, I mean that, let me pick you up and let's go play ball. I'm gonna come to your basketball game, or I'm gonna come to your theater play and stuff like that. What this young lady is saying, yes, it's rough. It sounds rough. But what I feel that is that Black people, the community, and I'm not just talking about America, I'm talking about the Caribbean, I'm talking about Africa. The whole shit is burning. So, and the number one people that they're using to burn the shit down is the Black, is a lot of the time is the sisters. Because they're making the sisters go into their ego. When you go into your ego, you think everything is about you. You don't look at it as a team. So I saw a video where a young man was telling a sister, hey sis, you shouldn't wear that blonde wig. Yo, there was like 6 sisters. They all turned on him and just disrespected him. So granted, it's not only the sisters that have to fix themselves, the brothers have to fix themselves too, because it's a team, we're all in this together. But I'm not gonna sit there and be like, oh, this young lady is a white nationalist, this and that and the third. Because you know what? If Malcolm X had said the same thing, some of y'all would have called him a white nationalist too. If Martin Luther King had said the same thing, y'all would have called Martin Luther King a white nationalist too. A lot of us black people, it's like a crack addict. A crack addict, no matter what you tell him to leave crack, he's gonna say you hating on him. So yes, that young lady's language is kind of tough, but a lot of the statistics she said is correct. And I disagree with the people saying, "Oh, it's only one demographic of." So now y'all gonna try to blame the black girls in the hood only? No, y'all in corporate, y'all in blue collar job, y'all all do the same thing. So I'm not gonna say yes, the language is rough and tough. Yes, rough and tough. But when the house is burning, hey, sometimes you gotta get a little vulgar. So should you have it like in the 1950s, prior to the 1950s, 1920s, 30s, yo, black people were getting married at a 90% clip. So for that young lady, based on what she said, she's trying to tell you that we could go back to that. We could go back to that. And a lot of things we celebrate, first of all, the music is trash. A lot of the thing that we watch and people are gonna say, oh, all the races do the same thing. I get it, but also there's a way that music interact with black people might be different from other people. Yo, first of all, a lot of us, and I'm not just gonna say label the sisters, but a lot of the community, they love that BS type sexualization drug music. This is what she's talking about. So maybe she's a little rough on the ladies, but like the brother said earlier, for black men, they come for us all the time. Or you're not providing, you're a deadbeat, you this and that and that. So somebody holding a woman accountable, not she's a white nationalist? Oh, that's it, man. That's all I have to say.
Hey, you ain't got to introduce me because you told me I was going there.
Thank
you. Yeah. Thank you, Coco. What I heard, I agree with what Black Steel said. I find black men that have a problem with black women. That woman is talking about one demographic of women. And for someone to try to act like that it's all black women, they have a problem with their mother. And I don't give a damn who get mad when I say it. They have a problem with the way they were raised. Oh, black men this, black men that. They want to make it they are trying to make it a black man versus black woman contest. Icon 5, that's what they always do. He got a problem with women, with black women. So when they sit up here and they go to the black man is more involved, you can find that written somewhere. But my lady got a 7-year-old daughter who called me daddy because she have no idea what her daddy looked like. So when we sit here and say this stuff, and we're gonna try, the black doctors, the black lawyers, they all do the same thing. I'm not saying there ain't no black doctor or a black lawyer that do that. That's not what I'm saying. But to try to act like all the black women doctors and all the black women lawyers is like what this funk ass skank is saying on this video. And I don't give a damn. Don't know black. See, Jackadero must be desperate as hell. Because anybody who can listen to this black woman and want to hold a conversation with them, something is wrong. Anybody who thinks this woman should be invited in spaces to hold a conversation with black people with that nonsense she just said. That's not, oh, she was criticized. That's all she did. Wasn't critical. She said that she called black women animals. She told black women they're not desirable. I guess she's something else. So she's an animal. She's not desirable to only Jackadero. But so everything she's saying by black women, I guess that's her too. But it's easy because people follow. Goku, think about the video that I sent you. People follow the algorithm. They don't want to hear nothing real. They follow the algorithm. So the algorithm have had a black man versus black woman all over social media for the last 5 years. So now when someone talking, they hear that, and she saying something negative about a black woman, you're gonna find black men who's gonna be all over it because they have been caught up in this fake nonsense. Black man versus black woman. I agree with Black Steel. There's no need to listen to a woman like that. You got people out here raised. Why would somebody with a daughter, with a black daughter, want them to say anything that this skank right here is saying? She ain't said nothing positive. The revolutionary queen, our matron, is absolutely right. There's a certain section. You can talk about the music. You can talk about how women dance in the videos, but you can talk about the men that made the music so women can dance in the video. So it's a certain type of men that like that certain type of woman. So if that ain't the woman for you, that ain't the woman for you. But to sit on here and to just, I'm going to sit on here and say it's black women and ain't no black woman desirable. Your man don't want you. Who on this panel don't have a black woman? Do everybody on the panel have a black woman? So that means there's black. So that means there's black men that want black women. So there go one. Your men don't want you. Which black woman the man don't want? Which black woman the black man don't want? So she just sitting over here spewing stuff to insult black women and black people. Maybe she had a horrible mother. I don't know. Maybe she had a horrible mother. Maybe the thing she's saying is from her background and it's from her mother. But for black men to get on here and co-sign this nonsense, I could be in a room with just black people, Azuli. I wouldn't agree with that and say, yeah, she's right. And please stop saying, if Martin Luther King had said this, if Malcolm X had said this, they didn't say it. And I don't agree with everything Martin Luther King said. I don't agree with everything Malcolm X said. So if Martin Luther King had said it, if Malcolm X had said it, I wouldn't have agreed with it. And there's a whole lot of other black men that would not have agreed with it. She just wanted to come on. She's trying to be a younger Candace Owens. And like I was, all you have to do if you want to make money, get on social media and ish on black people, you will make money. Because the crazy thing about it, you gonna find other black people that get on there and co-sign you ishing on black people. I'll yield the mic.
So I'm just gonna jump to the head of the line because I'm like that. First of all, a couple things. I'm gonna jump to the head of the line. But let me just say this. Everything she said was a stereotype. What facts did she come up? First of all, we got Professor Xavier on the panel. He can read minds. He need to be on the X-Men instead of being on Bit of Medicine podcast because he's a mind reader because he knows what black women are thinking, no matter what job they have, right? This woman and people like this, right? They think of black people in stereotypes. So you can say you're disgusting. You act like animals. That's right. That's right. That's right. Because they hate black people too. You can't listen to somebody sit there and say black women are like animals, and you have a black mother, a black sister, a black daughter, a black niece, and say, "Oh, you're disgusting. Your man don't want you." And when they do, they just leave you pregnant because your wombs are cursed. And you can sit here and say, "Well, she's factual. She's speaking for love." Really, was Charlie Kirk speaking with love when he said that black people were better off in the civil rights movement? He didn't feel comfortable. Were these white racists that are saying the same thing? Are they speaking with love? Because that's basically what she's saying. What she's saying is no different than a Klan member. And only because, and again, only reason it's okay is because some of y'all got issues. We have internalized anti-blackness within our community. And we have made it so acceptable that when you say these anti-black things, they look at you speaking truth. And we're called simps for thinking no black women aren't disgusting. No black women don't lead the stats and everything bad. Excuse me? Have you looked outside? You're gonna walk outside and say that black women Are the stats and everything bad? When you got white women out here raising serial killers and school shooters, but black women is out here raising everything bad. They're the ones, their wombs are cursed. Okay, they're disgusting. They act like animals. It's okay to, you know, you can go online and you can pick certain clips and whatnot. The thing, you know, there's three types of lies, right? There's lies, there's damn lies, and there's statistics. And statistics can be twisted to fit any type of narrative that you want. For forever, these white supremacists have been talking about 1350. 13% of the population, meaning black Americans, 13% commit 50% of the crime. That is not a factual stat, but they throw it around so much that people believe it. So she's in here saying all these negative stats about black people being dysfunctional. And again, you got to ask the question: are black people dysfunctional because we're oppressed, or are we oppressed because we're dysfunctional? You know, we want to try to sit up and try to put the blame on black people's condition, on black people's behavior, when black people are very much have been oppressed. We've been institutionalized, and you cannot sit up here and look at our behavior as separate from our oppression. When you have 400 years, or not even longer, you want to sit up here and say these things about black people like we're just white people, we're just mind our own business and we're just dysfunctional because we're just dysfunctional. You don't apply no nuance or nothing to it. It's bullshit. So I've said all I want to on this topic. I know I'm not going to change any minds. People feel how they feel, but I've said all I had to say.
Let me thank for that, Black Steel. Let me get in Chuck Wu, and then after Chuck Wu, we can have a free for all discussion for a couple of minutes on it. Chuck Wu, how are you this week?
Salute. Thanks for having me up. Shout out to the
Yes,
panel.
sir.
Shout out to the chat. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Loud
Right.
and clear. Go ahead.
There's several different things happening here. So there is no unified Black community with unified interests. Black people really are not a monolith. There's at least 5 different Black communities. Ever since desegregation, the Black community has splintered into at least 5 different groups. You have the like the wealthy elite Blacks, your millionaires, your billionaires, your Beyoncé's, your LeBrons, your business owners. Um, you have your middle class Blacks, which is like, you know, 50, more than 50% or 60% of Black people. You have a large minority of Black people who are, you know, underemployed, who are in poverty. And there's a lot of dysfunction in this group of Black people. I think that's who she's addressing. I don't think she's addressing everybody. I think she's addressing a very dysfunctional group of people who have, children out of wedlock, who have, a high rate of gang activity in their families, drug abuse. We'll get to that later. And then there's biracial Blacks. There's Blacks who have one Black parent, one white parent, one Black parent, one Hispanic parent, and then there's Black immigrants. I fall into that category. So this idea that Black people have a single culture and are plugged into the same culture and have the same religious beliefs is a mistake. So when I hear her, it's easy for me to hear that this is a Christian conservative. She's an evangelical Christian. So she's coming from a place of religious conservatism. That's what she's speaking about. She's talking about a very evangelical view of morality and of how women are supposed to carry themselves. And she's applying this view on the underclass. She's really talking about the Black underclass. So this is a class issue and a religious issue that I see that she's describing. And, you know, there are variations in how people conduct their affairs. And uh, nobody is above criticism. I mean, I I think all of us are subject to criticism, and this notion that you're not allowed to criticize a certain group of people doesn't sit right. If people are acting in ways that are producing bad outcomes for their children, for themselves, I think it merits criticism. So I don't see what she's saying as being a white supremacist. I think she's a person who has standards, and she is, you know, I'm trying to impose those standards or introduce those standards to other people. And so that's one point. And I think that there are two different framings of why we have disproportionate, why there's disparities in outcomes. So there is a there's a bias narrative, and there is a development narrative. So this bias narrative is that whenever you see any disparity between Black people and white people in median income rates and marriage rates and incarceration rates and teenage pregnancy rates and drug abuse, grades, anything, it's to do with the fact that we live in a society that is racist against us, systemic racism. And the only way to fix these disparities is to appeal to the larger society. The society is at fault for erecting these barriers that we're not able to get over. So we have to petition to society to either make special programs or set-asides, or social norms have to change in order to accommodate us and for us to achieve parity with other groups. The drawback to this view is that the power to change things are not in our hands. We have to petition the dominant society. And I mean, I think there is some truth to this view, but I think it's trying to change the society that you live in is very difficult. And I don't see how that's doable in our lifetime. But there is a development narrative that says that the disparities that we see between groups are due to elements of our early childhood development and cultural traits between different groups. So if there's one group of people who have children who are being raised in a household that does not contain men, or the men aren't there for significant periods of time, you have a situation where the woman is both the disciplinarian and the breadwinner, and she's not able to do both of those things well simultaneously. So as a result, there's the children are more likely to be poor and more likely to have bad grades because she's not able to look out to make sure they're doing their homework. Children are more idle, which means that they're more likely to get into trouble, to use drugs, to have teenage pregnancy, to participate in gangs. And there's a lot of pathologies that enter just because of these events in early childhood. The benefit of this framing of it is that there are things that we as individuals can do to change it. And I think what she's doing is that she is focused on this developmental narrative, and she is trying to orient ourselves to this view of how can we change things to make things better. And I'll land the plane there.
Hold on, bro. I mean, listen, I don't think nobody can top what you said a while ago, because you articulated the real shit. You feel me? And I don't really oppose you. You feel me? My brother said it's kind of free, so I wasn't talking for a minute, so let me say something.
Then let me go after you. Then let me go after you.
Okay. There's evidence. This lady, this beautiful empress, the only wrong thing I have with her is maybe she's not wearing her real hair. You feel me? But this beautiful lady, this precious lady that should be treasured, you feel me? And disrespect to anybody that call her names. You feel me?
Like the same way I disrespect you and call your weak ass name. Coco, I know I'm on your panel and I don't want to be rude, but this dude here is weak.
Yeah.
He done already said he's scared of white. He done already said he don't want to fight, but he'll fight a black woman. So
dude, you ain't nobody.
I'm gonna get off
you ain't
with
nobody.
your weak ass. With your weak
You ain't
ass. I'm
nobody.
just telling you what he has said.
You're a mama's boy.
On several,
You're a mama's boy. You
on
ain't
several
nobody,
different
man.
channels. He only
Do you
want
know
to
your
fight
daddy?
black women. He only want
You
to
don't know
fight
your
black
daddy,
women.
man.
He only want to fight black.
Shut up and be a man, man. Quiet, man. You come here arguing with men. You
I
feel
ain't
me?
arguing with you. I told you you was weak. I'm
Yeah,
not
be
arguing
quiet.
with you. I said what I
Be
said.
quiet. Go
I
home.
won't get on the
What's
front
wrong with being
line
a
with
mama's
y'all,
boy? I
but
don't
I'll
understand
try to
that.
cook or something.
Yo, let him
You're
finish.
miserable, man.
Let him finish,
You're
man.
miserable, man.
Brother McCoy, let him finish. We know who he is. Let him make his weak on point, man.
Let him go.
Yeah, man, you're miserable, man. You feel me? As I said, you feel me? Because listen, men are doing things wrong, and we should address it. You feel me? You have Crips and Bloods, and we should address them. You feel me? But there's evidence of women who is the cultural representative of a people who do the most cultural exchange into our people. If she's going wrong, something must be said about it. You feel me? Now, I want to know now, where is, because this is the evidence, where has it ever been that woman who is against sexualization, when did you ever heard of a female march against strip clubs? Where is it? It's sexualizing the woman, and it's objectifying the woman. So why isn't there a woman coalition?
So are you saying there's more women that objectify women than men objectifying women? Is that what you're trying to say?
No. I'm saying that women are so deep in corruption that they want to be objectified. They are in a zone where they think it's more money to be objectified.
Women control are in charge of advertising, marketing, and media, is what you're telling me, that this is what they want. It's not something that men are doing.
Yeah, women control marketing and all that.
That's bullshit.
You feel me?
That's bullshit.
This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. Women have a mind of their own. You feel me? You have women who cannot be homos, and they all over pro homo shit. You feel me? So they're making those decisions. Now, where is the
who allows them a space? Okay, good. So who allows those particular type of women to go on media platforms? Other women or men that own those media platforms that have those particular type of women?
So hold on. So I'm saying this, right? Where the women have power over their actions. Where is the anti-strip club coalition from women, where they go march against strip clubs?
I agree.
Why you got a problem with titties, man? Huh?
So this is what you're doing. You admit that men control the media, but you're not going to hold the men that's displaying these dysfunctional women. You're going to blame the women. You see how see how cowardly that sounds?
But you gotta eat it. It's something thrown, or something is thrown to you. You gotta eat it.
No, you don't. You just said women have to make decisions, just like how men have to make decisions. So that is probably like 90%, if not higher, of men that's making these spaces for these particular type of women to show black women like that. You can't be stupid enough. I'm trying to be nice to you. You have to be smarter than what you are right now to say, well, that's a representation of all black women. Only a fucking idiot would think that.
I think it comes down to individual decisions. It's not society that's making women
generalizations that I don't get.
Right. I think we should bring into individualism.
If you think one group of you think one group of any person is representation of all those people, you're just a fucking moron if anybody thinks that.
How about not being disrespectful, because you can get back disrespectful.
I am trying. So like you
better try or go. You better try or go disrespect your. Hold on, man. You better try being respectful or disrespect your bitch ass children.
One person to say this one person or thing represents groups of people, of thousands of people. I can say someone with you from wherever you from. Oh, they all are misogynistic. In my personal view,
do you know what we're dealing with? Do you know what we're dealing with here? We're dealing with a culture war issue. This is a culture war issue, and whatever culture
It's a
that
culture
you
war
are
issue
plugged
between
into.
white people and black people. It shouldn't be a
No,
culture
no,
war issue
I wouldn't say what black people and white
black
people.
fighting each other. White people don't go out there. There's no. Let me
Black
know
people
a
are
white
not a monolith.
podcaster. Let me know there's a white podcaster out
Hold
there
on,
saying,
hold
"Hey,
on, hold on,
white
hold
men
on.
need to stop fucking dogs and stop
Hold
being
on.
child molesters." And the white population is going down.
Bro,
Hey,
what's
you
up
white
with the
women,
big mouth and the
no one's
long
doing
breath?
that. White people
What's
aren't
up with
doing
the
that.
big mouth and the long wind? What's up with the big mouth and the long wind? What's up, man?
Anyway, there's no white
Give
women doing
people,
that.
give
There's
people a
only
break,
black
man.
women. There's
Your
only
voice
black
sound like
people
a
doing
girl. Your voice
Only
sound like
black.
a girl.
So now you
We
want to
don't want to hear your voice.
weak bitch
Your
ass.
voice have
Now
tweak
you
in it.
want
What
to
happened,
be an internet
man?
gangster.
What happened to
Now
you?
you
Why
want to
you
be
got
internet gangster because you're a
man,
fucking
man?
weak ass bitch ass
Like,
nigga.
Black women.
So you're a bitch ass
See,
nigga in real life.
we have differences of opinion. We don't have to
You're
insult
bitch
each
ass
other.
nigga. You're attacking
We can disagree without insulting each other.
Your voice sound cute.
Gentlemen, we got to disagree without insulting each other.
All
Yeah,
right,
y'all gotta
Fucking black women. Now you want to fight black
Yo,
men. Nigga, get
let
the fuck up
everybody
out of here.
talk, man. That free for all. Let people talk.
The black woman have a whole dysfunctional army to
Queens have a
defend her.
whole dysfunctional army, and
We should have an order in where people speak so that
Yo,
nobody's
let
interrupting.
him finish and then you talk, brothers. We can't hear it when y'all all screaming.
Yeah, one at a time. One mic. Go ahead.
Yeah, I thought I was talking. I thought I was talking. I thought I was the one who was
Being a little
talking.
long-winded. I can. Let's not have any unpleasantries right now. You're being a little long-winded. I know Kofi was cutting you off because you were supposed to get your talk, and then Kofi went next. But Kofi was cutting in. It's okay, but just be mindful that there's about 10 of us on this panel, and I'm only hearing from about 2 people who are talking over one another. We got MG2 here as well, so let me break the noise. Let me get MG2 in, and I'm only going to give this about 5 more minutes after MG2, and then we're going to move on to the next topic. Okay? MG2, how are you this week?
Always good. Always good to hear you. I broke in, I guess, at the middle of a spirited conversation, no doubt.
You have quite a way with words, MG.
Yo, what's up, MG2?
It's quite active, and a lot of adjectives. Actually, a lot of ad hominem makes great adjectives once in a while. One of the things that I kind of tend to like, I guess being my age, I'm getting old. In the midst of you've got Chicago under siege, you've got Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger under siege. And I find it quite remarkable, extremely remarkable that issues of social, i.e., what women have done in strip clubs and other things, take precedence. It's just kind of remarkable. I might be wrong, but maybe that's a priority that maybe we should focus on. I don't think so. I think there are other priorities out there. But anyways, there's something when I hear men, or males, excuse me, not men, actually say this, putting responsibility on women's actions totally on women. Not saying that this is the case. I've seen that happen before, but maybe not here. But I've seen where, whether it's strip clubs or anything else, most men in the societies are responsible because as a man, it is my job to fix the problem. Then maybe not other folks, but I'm just telling my own opinion that if I find something wrong, I cannot place the blame on those I'm supposed to protect, nurture, love, the ones I'm supposed to educate, which are women. I look at like in animal nature, you see the gorilla, the main silverback is in charge of the troop. If something happens, he's the one who's gonna, the buck stops with him. Now, I've noticed this quite, it's quite evident, and it happens quite often in the quote unquote Black community where there are no silverbacks because clearly the buck is not stopping at them. Okay, so if there is an issue with women and whatnot, and this is my own personal opinion, because I had to protect my sisters, my mom, my daughter. I have to do that. If there is an issue with women, I tend to think, and I may be wrong, that a real man will not censure the women, but censure himself because he might have not gone the full level of doing what real men do. So therefore, if you fix the problem, then there is no problem whether it's women in strip clubs, whether it's media, this and that and the other. There is no problem in the first place. If you are a true man, you'll fix it. And because, like they say, you know, I got this. And the other thing I heard earlier is I heard something about petitioning the dominant society. It reminds me of that movie Pulp Fiction, where Ving Rhames was getting, for lack of a better term, his manhood compromised by a couple of rednecks who were quote unquote definitely dominant. And the thing that kind of I don't petition a dominant society because I don't want them to be dominant. It's kind of like a slave going to his master saying, "Can you not do me like Ving Rhames?" I don't think that that's, and this is my personal opinion. When I hear I hear euphemisms like petitioning a dominant society, or we have to plead to them, or we have to, that kind of tells me that, again, like the earlier preference, you know, example I gave you, this is not an example of manhood. You don't petition someone else who's dominating. You go ahead and fight them. I'll pass the mic.
MK, look at this. We are not fighting against the black woman.
Can I respond?
Hold on, man. Hold on, man. Hold on, man. Hey, treat me like a grown man and stop playing with me, bro.
No, you talk.
I'm talking, man. Have some manners, man.
Let other people talk.
I'm talking, girl voice. Anyway, bro, listen. We are not against the black woman.
Chuck, will go ahead.
Right. This will be very fast. So 2 things. He mentioned that he wanted to put the responsibility on women's actions onto men. Right. This is what I heard him say. Right. But you have to understand that responsibility and authority are linked. I cannot be responsible for something I have no authority over. And so, for instance, I'm married. And you know, I have a wife and I have children and I have an extended family. I'm only responsible over what happens in my household. I decide. I'm responsible for the outcomes of what happens in my household. I'm not responsible for the outcomes of what happens in somebody else's household. I have no authority there. So you cannot transfer a responsibility to other people without also transferring authority. So understand 2 things. Authority and responsibility are linked. When you have an authority, you have to have an equal measure of responsibility and vice versa. So this notion that you can, if women over here are acting badly, the men can somehow just are responsible for it. No, you're only responsible for something you have control over. So, I mean, I think husbands have a measure of responsibility over their wives and their children, but you don't have. I don't have any responsibility over what single mothers are doing who are unknown to me. So let's put that there. Put a pin in that.
Does that go for the Black
something else
Panthers as well? Did that go for the Black Panthers, Robert F. Williams, or Nation of Islam? I just wondered if that case mattered as well.
I was going to ask that too.
That's a different thing. But let me land my plane. There's one more thing I wanted. You're shifting my focus. I'm almost done. There was something else you said about, what was it? Something to do with petitioning the dominant society. So when you say that I'm a baby daddy because of society, what you're saying is, or I have a criminal record because of society, or I'm a gang member because of society, or something that, you know, my actions are not my responsibility. They're the reactions of society. They're the responsibility of society. What you're doing is that you're transferring the responsibility away from yourself towards something outside yourself. You cannot control something outside yourself. If you're transferring responsibility outside yourself, you are giving control over to that thing. So I'm in agreement. I think if you believe that your destiny is determined by the government, by broad systemic racism, then you are transferring systemic racism exists, right? But there's ways to move that you can still have a good outcome. So whatever you transfer your responsibility to, that is what has authority over you. The same principle applies. So if it's society is the reason why you have a bad outcome, then you are an automaton controlled by society. So choose wisely, because if you think that you are where you are because of the dominant society, you're really essentially just saying that you're a white supremacist who believes that white people control you. And I'll land the plane there.
Let me
Are
say
you a
something right quick.
conservative?
Let me
Are you
say
a
something right quick.
conservative? Hold on.
Right
I
quick.
got one question. Are you a conservative? Would you align more with conservative views?
I would say I
That's
lean.
my brother Chuck. I'll let my brother Chuck speak for himself. I'm sorry. Go ahead,
I
Chuck.
lean. I'd say
He's
I lean
blacker.
more conservative. I lean
He's
conservative.
blacker. He
No,
took up
no.
for
I'm not.
Charlie.
I'm not
He
MAGA.
was
I'm not
taking.
Republican.
He
I
took
lean
up for Charlie
conservative.
KKK. He took up for Charlie KKK Kirk. But
I try to help you, my brother. I try to help you, my brother. Chuck, I try to help you, my brother.
He took up for Charlie KKK Kirk. But anyway,
I'm not for celebrating people's murder.
All,
I don't
all
celebrate
I
murder.
know,
I got you. But
all
when
I
we
know,
say,
I'm never on the side of the homos.
when we say when we say other people is not our responsibility because I'm not married to them or it's not my child, that's why, that's a big part of the reason we're in this position that we in
Agreed.
now. And when
You
you
don't think
hear
that's a
people
community.
and when I hear people laugh, talk negative of what people did in the 50s and 60s, oh, all they did was march. No, they looked out for one another. They looked out for the community. And when
Amen.
I say the things that I say, just because I happen to be raised and had to do this stuff coming up. So now I've been in it since for 53. I'm 53 years old. I took a few years off, but I've been doing this my whole life. So yes, when I see a black woman, can I say something to her? Yes, but I'm not gonna sit out here and act like I'm not gonna sit out here and every black woman do what this woman said, or these black people is not my responsibility. You're right. They might not be yours, but it's this young lady right now who can pick up the phone. She's 22 years old. She called because you know what? She wanted a different career and she's looking to have ownership. And she said, and she spoke to me, and I told her, you can do this, 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 and this. She wants trucks. So she went and got her CDL. And I've been showing her, and I'm taking her down the road. She's not my child, but I'm responsible because when these young people talk to me and they tell me some of the things that they want to do, and I have the knowledge to help them, I'm going to accept that responsibility and give it to them and give them my number, and they can pick up the phone and they can call me and we can hold a conversation. What is it you need? How can I help? Well, what about this? But see, but this is why we don't have no protection now. This is why we don't. This is why we can't pick up the phone and call 10,000 people and say, you know what? We need to go see them ICE people that killed that black woman in Chicago today. This is why, because we don't want to accept responsibility for one another. We want to figure out a way to talk negative. I'm talking about black men now, want to figure out a way to talk negative about black women and fight them because we are stronger. And I'm going to go real. I can even speak go real. But then you have it black. I just, because but then when
it's very dangerous in this time. It's very dangerous to be talking about individuality. That's very, very dangerous.
Exactly.
People
you got people moving as community, and you talking about I got mine, you get yours.
Yeah,
That's
you're not reading the room, buddy. You're not reading. They're gonna put you on that truck too. Believe it.
Yo, like, can I say something real quick?
So,
yo,
Azuli, I'm gonna give you Azuli, just give me a second. I'll give you a second. I find you guys like talking over me for some damn reason on the panel. When I'm talking, please don't talk over me, dog. All I wanted to say is this. I like where the conversation has gone to, in that it is room to criticize both men and women, because we're not working as individuals, we're a community. So men deserve criticism, women deserve criticism. Once it's on once it's fair, once it's not some straw man type of thing. Once it's fair. Azuli could go now. Go ahead.
One thing I'm gonna say is that there's room for both. There's room for that lady to talk like this, And there's room for what Bakari's talking about. Hey, I got an M4. Yo, it's like, yo, you want to play the Martin Luther King? I'm nice, I could give you love. And this sister could come here and give you that rough love. The brother was talking about something that was important. When what he was saying about the stripper thing. Yes, a lot of the music companies are the CEOs are men, but a lot of them are women too. So let's not victimize the women and act like she don't got no. There's no CEO women. There's no women working in the music industry. Let's not do that. What I think the brother was saying was this: we could all say that prostitution and sex work is bad. Yes, right? Let's say prostitution and the music and all of that is governed by predominantly men. What he's saying is that even if women could still go and protest it, the same way women protest against people, against the pro-life people, a group of women could walk and be like, yo, let's end stripping, let's end this, even though it's dominated by men. So people are just saying, oh, yes, the men are culpable. And
Thank you very much.
And the whole thing. What the brother is saying is this. Yes, I get that. But where's the Million Women March against sex work? That's what he's saying. And second, what I want to say is that some people keep saying it's about classes. No, they got a bunch of PhD women, also like PhD men, who are involved in degradation of the society. So what I'm saying is, yes, Bakari, there's room for Bakari's way of thinking, and there's also room for the brother just speak and that lady. At the end of the day, we're just trying to get the neighborhood better. So, yes, to me, yeah, go talk to Bakari. He'll give you that love. But if you're not listening to the Bakari, I'm coming and telling you ain't shit. That's what I'm saying. Go ahead.
Again, I'm gonna piggyback on what Black still saying when Black Bakari. If you have such this disdain for Black women and your critique is very one-sided, you just pretty much showing that something's wrong with your mother, your grandmother, and then the women in your family.
Black women alone? I just said black men, black women.
I didn't cut you out. I'm just saying in general, for people who have that type of energy, it's very clear in my view, and it's very uneven.
That's an ad hominem, but go ahead.
They just drag Black women through the mud and say, hey, but Black men too, after dragging Black women through the mud, and you're saying that's an equal critique. That is not an equal critique. Now, if this woman would have like said, well, there are some and there are segments of Black women, then I'm like, all right, okay. But she is generalizing. That's the part that gets me. She's making generalizations. She also said, I don't think anyone mentioned yet that Black women are the most also unintelligent in society, the most unintelligent women in society. That's a fucking Charlie Kirk shit. So if anyone wants to agree with that and say that your mother, your grandmother is a bunch of stupid ass women, go ahead. It's America. You're free to. I know my mother ain't stupid. I know my grandmother and women in my Black women in my family ain't stupid. But if you feel free that it's constructive criticism for her to call Black women, your mother, your grandmother, stupid, feel free. And I end it right there.
Stay away from me too while you're doing it. Stay over there.
Yes, if my mother's acting stupid, my sister's acting stupid, my niece is acting stupid.
There's a difference between acting stupid and being stupid.
Call them stupid. What are you talking about?
The difference between acting stupid and being so we all act stupid from time to time. But if she's giving this quote unquote constructive criticism and she's making generalizations, this fits in easily into the white narrative of Black people being inherently stupid, backwards, and dysfunctional. And she's not giving any caveat.
Let me say something real quick.
Go ahead.
Let me say something real quick. So women slut shame other women more than men slut shame women. And there's a good reason for this. It's not because women hate themselves or because of, I don't know, whatever you guys were saying. It's because the biggest threat to a woman's relation. I'm hearing a feedback. Can somebody mute up? All right. Women's slut. Hang on. Am I having feedback? Can everybody hear me? Okay.
Yeah. I can hear you, but someone.
I can hear you, but I can hear the feedback. I don't know if somebody's mic is open or not.
Okay, so I'll be fast. So So the women slut shame each other because the biggest threat to a woman's relationship with their husband or boyfriend is a promiscuous woman. So this is one of the reasons why women slut shame each other, and I think that we have to keep that in mind. And the older women in society have an interest in regulating the sexual competition from younger women. So it makes sense to me why, if you're a woman who's in a relationship, you are going to want to say derogatory things to the promiscuous women you see around you because you don't want them in your area. And it's dangerous. I think there is wisdom in that. You don't want this prevailing norms of this society where sexual promiscuity is there is no shame. Women can be sex workers and do all this, OnlyFans, and it's being normalized. And I think it's having a deleterious effect on the Black family and on the stability of Black culture and Black society. So I do lean conservative in that I believe in the sanctity of marriage. And I think that anything that detracts from that is not only just going to damage marriage, but it's going to damage Black society, Black communities together. So we have to have some standards in order to maintain a cohesive family and society. And I'll land the plane there.
Let me ask one question before I get off here. It's gonna be two. I put it in the chat. I got two. First, I asked her.
Just make it.
I was just gonna ask: has anybody ever hung out with a prostitute or a stripper and seen them as a person, not a prostitute or a stripper? And the reason I asked that,
Not yet. Not yet.
And the reason I asked that question, because if you ever did, you would be surprised at how intelligent a lot of these people. They do what they do because they know they can make money from me. And I was telling this one buddy I was with, he did investment.
Yo, Bakari's at the strip club right now. That's why he's defending them.
I don't do strip clubs, but I know strippers. And I used to hang, and I had a couple prostitutes I used to chill with, and people thought I was messing with them, but we were just cool. But and I didn't never judge them for being a prostitute.
Stop strip club shaming. Don't strip club shame. But
when he was showing, and when he showed them women who was making his cash, and he had about 10 of them, and how they was taking that cash and investing and flipping their cash, but they say they know they can make that money because men gonna come up in there and spend the money. So it's working hand in hand. So then they got to a point where they ain't had to strip no more because they were making money off their investment, just like those couple prostitutes. And people laugh, this, you strange if you hang, but I didn't care about them being prostitutes. They were Black women. I saw them out. We were chilling, and then we became cool. But the same thing. But they do this stuff because if you're gonna shame the women, you got to shame the men. Because if men were not purchasing it, the women would not be doing it. It's just that simple. Just like with men didn't want to see a woman with blonde hair in their head, not saying us, that Black woman. You wouldn't find Black women with blonde wigs in their head. They do the things they do because there's men that like it. Just that simple.
Yo, Bakari, you just blame
Bakari, I gotta push back on that. I gotta push back on that. This is the issue. Hold on a second. I gotta push back on that because someone needs to mute.
Kwaku, you sound mad for. You sound mad for though.
You know what? Urzuli, go ahead.
No, you back now. You sound like you was a distance away.
Yeah, that's what we were saying. Go ahead, Kwaku. You were sounding mad for. That's right.
Okay. Thanks for letting me know. I can't tell this computer. I have to push back a little bit. And this is a conversation for a whole other time, to be honest. But the reason why prostitution occurs, for example, is because some women or some people, because men are prostitutes too, some people recognize that there's a gap. And a lot of times the gap is really because your spouses aren't doing the things that they're willing to do. And they know this, so they fill that gap. I don't like the idea of that women don't have agency, that women can't say to the men, even if it's true that men are the ones who want blonde wigs and weaves, which I don't know how true that is. But even if that was the case, women have the agency to say, hold up, I'm rooted in my blackness, I'm rooted in my Africanness, I'm not wearing no blonde weave. You see what I'm saying? Because, you know, some people say it as a joke, but black men don't walk around wearing white men's hair. Last I checked, at least not on no big scale. So what I will say is that, and this is my advice to all of us, we should be able to have fair and honest conversations about black men and black women. And someone opened the mic again. I don't know why you're doing that, but I think we got to have fair conversations at times. Now, I don't think we got to get into the individualism because that's no good for the black community. But we should be able to have fair conversation on both sides. So I'll let Uzuli speak, and then by 10 o'clock, I'm gonna end this conversation and move on to Shoot the Breeze topic number 2 tonight. All right? Uzuli,
when am I gonna address the crowd?
Hold up, just real quick, bro. You could go right after me. But Corey, what we're saying is, of course, they got cool strippers.
You have to be brief too.
Yeah, I'm gonna be brief. Of course, there are cool prostitutes, cool strippers, cool sex workers, but in general, sex work is not good for a community. I'm not just blaming the women. Yeah, they got men who are very lewd, very sexually thirsty, with no dick discipline. No, the men got to do better. But what the brother was saying is this, whatever you slice it, whichever you look at it, sex work is not good for any community, especially when it becomes so prominent in the music and the books and the movies. No, even the prostitutes. You want me to tell me if I got asked one of those girls, do you still want to be a stripper? You think that is very demeaning to the. So based on what we're saying, we're not saying there's not cool people. What we're saying is that all this sex work shit that's in the black community, or not even just the black community, and in our society nowadays, it's too much. That's it.
Before you go, I want to say one thing, 10 seconds. Look how many people are on the chat right now. We never had this many people when we're talking about, Pan-Africanism and stuff like that. But look how many people joined the panel to talk.
No, it's because of me. It's because of me. But hold on. Let me just say this, man. We need our black women. We need them. But we need them functional. We are not going nowhere with our black woman in dysfunction. Every time we take 10 steps for 1 step forward, we take 10 steps backward. That's because our black women are lagging behind. You feel me? This is what I have to say about our people.
Can I ask you guys a question real quick?
Hold on. Wait. Yeah, in a minute. Hold on. The reason why put off your mic. The reason why black women are I can't talk about the other races. I actually don't care. Okay? The reason why black women are strippers and prostitutes is because they are not withholding themselves and then get married by the time they're 18. The black woman should do that. That way she don't be a town runner, a road runner. You feel me? When the black woman comes out of school, when a woman comes out of school, a woman should get married immediately. I'm telling you, because her sensualities is going to weaken her at a particular time. So she need to get married. And that's why you have hoes and prostitutes. It's because they are not willing to maintain a organized society in terms of promoting nuclear families. You feel me? Something is doing it. So that's why there are so much abortions, because the black woman is not promoted to be married. So even if she get pregnant underage, well, they should be married. You feel me? So that's what these are the things that is needed to promote in the society, to not have these woman that's un unmarriable or unrelationshipable, these type of thing. It's because she on the road running, and the only thing can stop that is we as a population need to make sure the black, and this will stop even rape, because what happened now is she can't get married to everyone like how she give it to everyone or a lot of people. So that will hold. Look, 70%, and we need to stop divorces, because 70% of our neighborhood, the black woman's marriage is orchestrated by her. So the dysfunction is even going off into marriage life. So these are the things that we have to try to do to undo some of the things that's going on, and even correct a lot of our women's, and you can't trust a woman with wigs. You can't. It's like, don't do it. Go ahead.
Can I ask a real quick question? It's going to be extremely quick. I went out to the store today and I walked around the streets, and everything that I encountered, including the cars that were made, the paint on the streets, my windows, the food, and everything that I've seen so far is made by non-black men. Okay, everything in society, the police, the airplanes, and everything. Do you guys think? And real quick question: if we were to take control of our lives, down to the water we get, which doesn't, we're not in control of it, to the security we get, whether it's police or to the transportation, to the gas stations. If we developed our own refineries, if we developed even our own so-called internet, so we're not on YouTube and having to deal with somebody else's satellites and our own phones, so we could actually, do you think that if we took control of our lives as black males, black men, and we were to do what men do, because clearly other men had provided us the things that we're now having a conversation on. Do you think that if we took control of our destiny and the things that we should, do you think that black women would be the same as what we're describing them, or some folks are describing them right now? Or do you think that they would stay the same and we would still have this conversation, even if we took control of our lives?
That wasn't a quick question at all, MG2.
I could answer that real quick for you. Look, the black woman is very powerful. She has us in control since we was birthed as men. I'm not talking about the girls. I'm talking about men. She has control over us even till 10 years old. She have physical control over us, and a lot of mental control over us if the father is not injecting himself. So what I'm trying to say is, a lot of black women are miseducating the youths, and they paying less attention on boys. So what I'm trying to say is, if the black woman want to defeat us, she can. And that's what's going on, because the white man is using her to do it, and she don't know. She been captured from slavery. She been given freedom from slavery, freedom from us, but not freedom from the white man. You feel me? So she don't know. She don't know. So what she's doing is she's raising people she like, but she's not raising people for another woman to like. She's just raising people for she to like. So what happened is, we as men are are practically on the back foot when we grow up as
But real
men.
quick,
In
real quick
general,
though.
not all of us. Hold on, not me personally, but all of us. We are on the back foot because we are. She avoids Pan-Africanists. She avoids Marcus Garvey. You can't tell me she don't hear about these people. She avoid these people and avoid the teachings. She avoid things that would make us a real, genuine, upstanding man. She tried to make us eat out of the white man hand like a donkey, like a donkey. That's how you tame horses and do. You feel me? So you have to understand these dynamics in the black world, especially us as POWs. Go ahead.
All right, I can. Let me just say this quickly. Please, no one come and ask the panel another question. Make a quick statement if you have to, but I want to move on to the next topic tonight. All right. So I know Chuck who asked to say something. Just make a statement or whatever, so that we can move on. All right.
Right, just real quick, what the brother was describing of taking control of our own lives and destiny and the infrastructure can only happen in the context of Black nationalism. That can only happen if we control our own nation state and we create the norms of society. Living as a minority group, 14% in somebody else's society, that is not an option that's available to us. And I'll land the plane there.
I appreciate your brevity there. All right, man. That was a lengthy conversation. Some of y'all remain quiet because you didn't want to get into the fray. I get it. Hopefully, you guys will speak up in this next topic. Should read topic number 2 is. And by the way, the same way you guys can hang around for the black woman versus black man thing, hang around for the rest of the topics as well. Should read topic number 2 says the revolution is epistemic. This comes with 2 links, both to Instagram. Let's yeah, my sound might be messed up, Sister Raw. I'm not certain. I'll have to try and fix this during the week. And if I can, I'll ask Jackadera to host next time. So this takes us to Instagram. I hope I have the right one. Yeah. This takes us to Instagram. I think you guys can see my screen. If not, it should come up in a minute. Okay. I'll play it and then I'll go right into the second video. So make sure pay attention. I'll go right into the second video so we can discuss it all.
In a previous video, I remember I said something like the revolution is epistemic, and that one of the ways to practice decolonialism as a response to epistemic violence. But I just want us to unpack that a little bit more. Foucault said that knowledge and power are inseparable, that those who control knowledge, I tie this with the question of how Western knowledge is considered universal, but in many African societies, our knowledge is considered local. Fanon said that one of the things that colonization did is it took away the colonized's ability to name the world, to deny people the ability to contribute to knowledge. That is epistemic violence. This is what Gayatri Spivak asked in her famous essay, Can the Subaltern Speak? And the answer leans more to that already silence them. Their voices become unheard, distorted, or even, you guessed it, appropriated. Ngugi wa Thiong'o's version of epistemic violence was what he called the cultural bomb. And for him, it was in language. The imposition of English, French, Portuguese as the languages of literature, of education, politics. It meant that African peoples could only see themselves through borrowed words. And that was his reasoning for going back to writing in his mother tongue Gikuyu and only having his works later translated to English. Fanon also went further. Colonization didn't just occupy land, it also colonized mind, complete reordering of thoughts. And this is where Walter Mignolo's idea of epistemic disobedience comes in, the refusal to only think within colonial frames. It's not about asking for a seat at the table, but completely flipping the table over, something I think Fanon would love. So when we say epistemic disobedience or epistemic violence, we're saying it's not just about what we know, but also how do we know what we know? It's about challenging reality. It's about asking, whose knowledge is this? Where does this knowledge come from? And tying into my previous videos, it's also why I think exploring African time and African temporalities matters. Exploring the idea that for many African societies, time is cyclical, event-based, and communal. So yes, asante kwa kutazama, tafakari hayo, keep producing time, and I'll see you in the next video.
You guys say it keeps cutting out. Yeah, my computer's slowed down. Here's what I'll do. Jacket, are you still here, right?
Still with you.
All right, Jackadair, I want to send the link in the private chat. Do me a favor and share it from your share it from your side for me. This is the second video to this prompt, if you don't mind.
Yes, sir.
Please stand by.
I remember I said something like the revolution is, and that one of the ways to practice decoloniality was through epistemic disobedience as a response to epistemic violence. But I just want us to unpack that a little bit more. Foucault said that knowledge and power are inseparable, that those who control knowledge also control reality. For me, I tie this with the question of how Western knowledge is considered universal, but in many African societies, our knowledge is considered local, traditional, or indigenous. Fanon said that one of the things that colonization did is it took away the colonized's ability to name the world, to deny people the ability to contribute to knowledge. That is epistemic violence. This is what Gayatri Spivak asked in her famous essay, Can the Subaltern Speak? And the answer leans more towards no. Because when marginalized people try to speak within structures that already silence them, their voices become unheard, distorted, or even, you guessed it, appropriated. Ngugi wa Thiong'o's version of epistemic violence was what he called the cultural bomb. And for him, it was in language. The imposition of English, French, Portuguese as the languages of literature, of education, politics. It meant that African peoples could only see themselves through borrowed words. And that was his reasoning for going back to writing in his mother tongue Gikuyu and only having his works later translated to English. Fanon also went further by saying colonization didn't just occupy land, it also occupied the colonized mind to see themselves through the colonizer's gaze. So for Fanon, decolonization wasn't just about political independence, but it had to be a complete reordering of thoughts. And this is where Walter Mignolo's idea of epistemic disobedience comes in, the refusal to only think within colonial frames. It's not about asking for a seat at the table, but completely flipping the table over, something I think Fanon would love. So when we say epistemic disobedience or epistemic violence, we're saying it's not just about what we know, but also how do we know what we know? It's about challenging reality. It's about asking, whose knowledge is this? Where does this knowledge come from? And tying into my previous videos, it's also why I think exploring African time and African temporalities matters. Exploring the idea that for many African societies, time is cyclical, event-based, and communal. So yes, asante kwa kutazama, tafakari hayo, keep producing time, and I'll see you in the next video.
That's weird. That seemed like it was the exact same video as the first one, which is kind of strange because of anyway. Should be topic number 2. The revolution is epistemic. Let me start with Jackadair for being so kind as to play that for me. Yeah, Jackadair, what's it?
I'm gonna be honest, man. I watched it twice now, and I still have no idea on what is being asked. So I'm gonna have to sit out on this one.
I could kind of start that off.
All right, Kofi, go ahead.
Yeah, I saw that before. I found that to be very beautiful. From what I get what she's saying, there's external versions of colonialism, and it has to do with culture. And when we think of colonialism, we're thinking of, okay, I can't practice my indigenous culture, but it also had to do with language, right? So obviously, she's talking about the Okuyu people. So I think she's talking about Kenyan people. So I think from because she's talking about France Fanon, right? So she's saying when it comes to that, you couldn't even use your own language. So a form of colonialism when we have to express who we are, what we are, the world, or whatever, we couldn't use our indigenous languages. We had to use Portuguese, French, English, whatever, right? So it's if anyone studied language or anything about linguistics, you're gonna look through it. Once someone takes away your language, you have an African mind and you're trying to describe something using someone else's language. So it's not really an African expression, even though you're actually writing it. So what she's saying that like people like France Fanon and other people, they started using their original language and taking it back and using it for literature so you have a real African outlook at things, right? Going back to Dr. Clark, this goes to show you how embedded in Western Eurocentrism that we are. And he was talking about when he went to Africa. He says when you went back to Africa, again, it's communal, right? I hope people are getting this because some people think black women are nothing but whores and sluts and no mind of their own. But what she's saying has a lot of validity to it, right? And when Dr. Clark said when he went to Africa, he was like, you see a bunch of kids playing, and you think like, wow, all these kids have a home, right? Not to sound corny, it's just, but it says it takes a village to raise a child. There was no such thing as a child without a home. So there's no orphanage. There's no word for orphanage in that language. No word for orphanage. You know why? Because no one threw away children. There's old people all over the place within the community. There was no old folks home because there's no institution or no place called, no one threw away grandma and grandpa. So once you start using your own language again to write about yourself, your people, your experience, and how you see the world, it has significant meaning to it. And you're really expressing who you are and your people culturally, how you see it, instead of using other languages. And how she put it, I saw that a little while ago. I know I'm missing like 1 or 2 points, but that's the gist of what she's trying to say. And we have to understand colonialism only benefits the colonizer, not the colonized. So whatever, if you're not a part of an indigenous religion, way of thinking, way of thought, then you're still a colonized person, right? And all of us, especially me myself, I'm trying to get back to who we were, because what we are is a Frankenstein version of what we should be. We don't have a full-on African mind of who we are. And once we get there, right, Africa herself and her people have their own little issues to deal with. But us in the diaspora, we trying to get our African minds back. And even on the continent, some of us don't even have our African minds because, again, like the sister said, you have a lot of white people that came there that colonized us. And it's pretty much they just waged terrorism on our physical body, our spiritual mind, as well as our language. And that's pretty much it. I'll yield the mic.
Appreciate that. I haven't heard from Buana in a minute. Buana, what say you?
Yeah, I hate to deal with these topics, especially on a Saturday night when they drink in. But let me say,
obviously your Wi-Fi can't deal with it either. Fix that.
It's your mic. It's your mic.
Buana, go and come back. Go and come back. Black Steel, what's the...
So my thoughts on this. So this is I kind of feel Buana, but at the same time, I want to give this topic the respect it deserves, right? First of all, I would say that much of what we when you study I can't even pronounce the word. But what is it about our knowledge, right? What is it? It's like, because we have been in the belly of the beast for so long, right? Our thoughts are not really our own, right? And it was something Amos Wilson said, that in order for a minority of people, a minority of humanity, to oppress the rest of humanity, that means the majority of humanity must be out of their minds, right? And listening to this topic, it made me think of when he said that you can have,
Except the black woman.
for Christ's sake, man, I'm sorry these black women did you so badly. I really am. But we're not talking about black women right now. So just stick a pin in it. Anyway, we're just overall, the overall I'm saying is that the idea that we must be out of our minds for the European to do what he has done to not just to our society, but to the world itself. And we have to really question how the knowledge that we take, we have to question it. So I'll leave it there.
Appreciate that, Black Steel. Let me hear from Azuli next. Azuli would say it. Looks like Azuli's Wi-Fi ain't no good either. Chuckle, what say you?
Yes. So it is kind of confusing what she's saying. I think I understand the concept. She's talking about decolonizing your mind and the ability to see yourself and the world through your own eyes and not the eyes of the colonizer, ultimately. But it's ironic that, okay, all of us in this room are right now speaking English, and most of us are living in the West. So I think there's a tension between adapting to the environment that you're living in and expressing your authentic self and identity. I think this is what I think this has something to do with what she's saying. But my good brother Kofi said something interesting. He said the quote about what was it? It takes a village to raise a child, and that is true. But when you study that in context, I'm Igbo. I was born in Nigeria. So villages are groups of people of extended family groups that connect themselves patrilineally to, like, the same fathers. So in the context, it takes a village to raise a child, that only is coherent if you are related either by blood or by marriage, and you connect yourself to you're part of a family group. But it's not coherent in a society where there are no extended families, and you know not everybody is viewing themselves as, who is your father, who's your father. So there's a cultural context that exists and I don't think it takes a village to raise a child can exist in our Western society, because not everybody is patrilineal, and we're not all connected in terms of extended family. And I'll land the plane there.
That's interesting, Chuckle. Buana came back. Is that from Buana? It's still choppy.
His internet is still trash. He's still trash. Get out. Still trash.
Nah, it's still choppy.
Still choppy, man. Black woman's in charge of your Wi-Fi, man. Get it right. Get it right.
Get out, man. You want to get out?
All right, MG2. MG2, let's hear from you.
Yeah, I'm glad you played that video, because when you're talking about epistemic, knowledge of or where it pertains to, you guys, I have to thank both Choku and Black Steel in terms of some things that I learned a lot from you guys. Here's one of the things. And Black Steel, thank you so much for bringing up Amos Wilson, because I think of Blueprint for Black Power on Amos Wilson when he was talking about the effects of enslavement and what it's done to African people. When he brought up the most pivotal point was he says, what language do you speak? What clothes do you wear? You know, what foods do you eat? And then the most pivotal part where everybody took your breath away is he said, what gods do you worship? Do you worship an African God? And I think that's globally that we don't, because of, you know, of course, our relationship or a malformed relationship with those who have colonized and, you know, whatever you want to call it, you know, whether it's Arabs, Peckerwoods, Asians, it doesn't matter. Choku brought up something very interesting too, in terms of the village raising the child. Okay, and I'm glad that, you know, because my mom always, and he used the term culture, and I love that because a lot of times using these European terms, and as well as Choku said, look, we're speaking English. If you don't know the effects of this epistemic situation, why are we speaking someone else's language? Of course, you know what? Again, it goes back to Amos Wilson. But when Choku brought up a village, it takes a village to raise a child, and the word culture. No matter where you're at, okay, you're seeing the effects of a village raising a child with all of us here, okay, and some of us who had ancestors that were enslaved. It doesn't matter where you are. A village has raised the child, okay? That's why we're surviving. That's why we're talking. It didn't take extended families. It didn't take bloodlines. It took individuals, as Brother Bakari was bringing up earlier, it took individuals for that aspect of survival to say, look, I might not know you. I might not even be in the same tribe. I might not be, but the thing is, we have to survive. And so therefore the village raised not only the physical child, but the child of the village in and of itself, because of the fact that it wasn't really, you know, a mature society. It was individuals that wanted to survive. It was individuals that wanted to go ahead and have another day, and maybe they could produce a future. We are the evidence, irrespective of whether we came from extended families or not. We're the evidence of a village raising a child. When you brought up that term culture, Coach Choku, and back in the 60s, I remember this very well. It was something, you know, because my mom was a scholar, and I remember listening, and, you know, I don't know how you guys are, but I remember Vietnam and Walter Cronkite and all that. And one of the things that one of the professors had taught in one of the colleges, he said, culture is a device mechanism handed down through generations for survival. Not the European form of culture, but the African form of culture. Again, it's about your frame of reference. And it's kind of hard with epistemic, you know, situation, the knowledge of or what pertains to coming from someone else. We've lost even the whole aspect of what culture is. When I say it's a device mechanism handed down through generations for survival, a little spider knows exactly, when it comes out of the egg, it knows exactly how to make a web. That's part of its culture. Again, a device mechanism that was handed down to the second generation to say, hey, you got to be around. The thing is when we're looking in terms of the frame of reference, because our frame of reference has been so skewed, and I love the term Frankenstein. That's the best term I've heard so far. We've been and basically pieced together from everyone else's colonization to create who we are right now, even on this YouTube. The thing that I start thinking of in terms of not only just culture and the things that, you know, that we've learned, i.e. from all this, you know, unfortunate interaction, but I also think in terms of we're still, okay, a village, whether we want to see it, whether we want to recognize that or not. We're still trying to raise that child, a mature society, and be something other than something that somebody's colonized us into. Otherwise, these conversations wouldn't even exist in the first place. I'll pass the mic.
Can I respond to this one aspect really quickly?
I appreciate that. Choku, briefly, go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So I agree with what the brother just said, but but I just want to flesh out one idea. So in Igbo land, there's an idea called ominala. It's how Igbo societies are structured, and it depends solely on your family, your paternal lineage. So imagine groups of families who share the same father, or uncle, or cousin. You can form groups based on your bloodline and based on who you choose as wives. And your uncles, if they see you screwing around or not doing your homework or doing something stupid, they can discipline you because they are part of your family group. So your discipline is, everybody has a responsibility in making sure that, you know, children are well behaved and understanding the basic tenets of their culture. This is what we call uminala. And in this context, it does take a village to raise a child, but I don't see how we can do that in the West, where not only are we separated by different, you know, social groups, but not everybody sees themselves as being connected in that way. So I think when you're talking about a tribe, you're talking about relatives, people who you see, people who you go to their weddings and funerals, people who are there, you know, who are there for each other. But it's hard to extend that over the internet and over millions of people who never, you know, see each other face to face. That's all I wanted to say. Go ahead.
What what you're saying is true, but at the same time, I'm almost 50, right? I'm from Guyana, right? And I'm pretty sure Black Americans could attest to what I'm about to say. Not all family that we consider family is blood related. Your neighbor could be your family. So we all know the story. If your neighbor, my aunt is telling me this story. If your neighbors see you do like 2-3 doors down, no, you're not supposed to doing something, she'll whip your ass. You get 3 ass whippings on your way home, and your mama will whip your ass. That's a village raising a child. They say, "Oh, what was she getting whooped for?" I saw her doing this. I saw her doing that. I hear Black Americans the same story. So it's more of it's a community. Your community doesn't necessarily have to be your blood family. And that's pretty much it I wanted to say.
Real quick, I just want to, can I thank you for that? Because I came from, like I said, the 60s, and I can tell you guys how many spankings I got from neighbors because of things that I did. So I just wanted to put that out there. We had a village way before, most of you guys are too young to know this, but we had a village back then. If you made a mistake, you got beat.
Yeah, Brother Bakari mentioned in the South, he mentioned in the chat that they lived as a community as well. I know Zulia is here. Zulia, are you ready to respond to topic number 2?
Yeah. I'm going from a different. I understand what the ladies. I think I understand. This is my perspective on it. Is that revolution is epistemic because most of us don't control knowledge. We don't control biblical knowledge. We don't control science knowledge. We don't control science knowledge. If I ask everybody on this panel, how did
Our religious knowledge.
What?
Our religious knowledge.
Oh, religious knowledge. Yeah. If I ask anybody here on this, how life started, they're gonna give me what they learned in school. And who are the teachers? Who was the predominant teacher of their science? We all know who the curriculum. If I ask you who Jesus or who this is, y'all gonna tell me this. So if I ask you what do you call a lion in your language, you can't tell me. So we are very colonized. Very colonized. If I ask you, what do you call this donkey? Most of us, I don't know, the brother who said he's from Africa, maybe there's a different name for them. Maybe they're closer to their languages than we are. But in the Caribbean and in America, all of our language, the only thing I think, even, for example, even our language, they use it against us. I think I've mentioned this plenty of time before when I used to come here every Saturday. The word zombie now is used as a degraded word. But when you look back, zombie is a word that used to mean a snake god, meaning that it's just like the chakras. But what we do, we use it against us. The same word
Same thing with Jumbie. Same thing with Jumbie. I know Jumbie is a deity that protects you, but we demonized it.
So we demonize a lot of our stuff. It's just like there's another word I forgot. There's another word that we use. A lot of word we don't have. Even there's certain words, the knowledge.
Voodoo.
I know voodoo, for example. All of that. For example, I know I had a conversation with, especially this guy Bakari. That's why his internet is not working. When I asked him, He want to talk about evolution, or evolution is this and that. Who taught you that? What did your ancestors tell you? How did we come to Earth? We don't know. Everything we've been taught, everything. And I'm going to say this because I'm Haitian. My father told me a lot of the Haitian history, you know who that was written by? The Catholics wrote some of the history of the Haitian history. When Dessalines was there, Dessalines said no foreigner could own land in Haiti. Guess what they did? They came in, switched, they switched a whole constitution. All of our Caribbean and African countries talk about, oh yeah, we're celebrating Independence Day. Nah, son. If we keep it in the buck, you was giving it. So what this lady's talking about, knowledge is revolution. That's what I'm thinking. We don't know. We don't know. Words, like the brother said here, words is important. We can't even describe certain stuff with our own words. But I'm more focused on the knowledge of evolution, for example, or how the earth works. This and that, and all we've been taught, if we want to be honest, we got it from Europeans. So I guess maybe I don't know if that's what she's saying, that we need to get to the top, where we need to find out what did our and there's another thing I bring here. They're gonna kill me for it, because Koku, Bakari, they all kill me for it. We want to say that we came all out. Humanity started out of Africa. Who told you that? Who told you that?
Is that question rhetorical? That's a rhetorical question.
No, it could be a rhetorical question. You could take it as
I can answer it.
No. What I'm saying is this: is that a lot of I think what this young lady is talking, we need to find out our knowledge from our mother's tongue and the father's tongue, because a lot of the knowledge they're giving us, for example, a lot of knowledge that we have learned is from the same people that we are claiming that hates us. So how could you be a student of the people, quote unquote, that you say that hates you, and you learn from them, and then you say, yeah, the Big Bang Theory, we came from, we was monkeys, and then we became human.
Can I ask you a question?
I didn't end my plan, but you could go, bro. I'm good.
Well, I know I'm gonna side. Koku, I don't know if I can ask some questions. I don't want to sidebar your show.
I mean,
hold that thought. Let me get, because I have a few people who's new on the panel. I still got I Can Fire to get to. In fact, let me go to I Can Fire now, and then Joe say you'll go after I Can.
Yeah, thank you, man. Respect to Josie. Hey, let me answer your question quickly. I like the young lady. She's just trying to it's very impressive for her to, as a woman, to refer to those quality books. You feel me? Frank Fanon, a black hero. You feel me? And I want to say much love to Queen Ashada Shakur, as a real black woman who stand up for black men. You feel me? And gave her life for black men. You feel me? Okay. What she's taught, what that girl is read is, she's saying that actually we should not trust anything that we're doing. Is that everything that we're doing right now, all of it, or everything that we have known, all of it need to be put aside and be thoroughly analyzed. You feel me? Because, and it only can be thoroughly analyzed with black consciousness and the love of your skin and the direct love of your hair. That's the only mind frame that can analyze colonization. You feel me? And that's what this lady is talking about, that Frank Fanon mentioned, that we have not organized the world of our own, by our own. We have not spoken, we have not named the earth. You feel me? We have not name. They separated us from naming the surroundings. You feel me? So what we are doing is copying what the white man told us. You feel me? That's why my Haitian bro is saying that who told you that we all come from Africa? Personally, I believe that we all came from Africa. Not when they was not when they and I believe the theory that they wasn't white when they left Africa. I believe the theory that um ele- geographical locations over thousands of years can change a people. You feel me? I believe that. I'm not sure though, because I'm not a scientist. You feel me? But I but that's what's going on where we are in a confusion phase. Only people like Amos Wilson, John Henry Clark, Dr. Benyakin, Rastafari, only these people are decolonized in this earth. Practically everybody else, no, and the people that acquires these teachings, the people that acquires these teachings from these teachers. You feel me? Only these people are decolonized. The rest of people is sleeping. That's why we say wake up, because some people is sleeping because they haven't went through the not the they haven't gotten the forbidden knowledge. You feel me? And black history, black consciousness is the forbidden knowledge for black people. And nobody is going to be better until we all go through the phase of learning the forbidden knowledge that can decolonize us. Thank you, my people.
Yeah, good stuff I can. Jose, how are you this week?
Hello, can you hear me?
So how you doing, man? I can hear you just fine.
Okay. Yeah. So
Jose, how you speak?
I'm speaking. Yeah. And people are hearing me. Apparently you are not. All right. Yeah, so I was making coffee when the lady was speaking, so I didn't catch it completely. Also, my name, my number one language is not English, so I may have missed something. With the help of previous speakers, I tend to now sort of understand what the video was about. But I can only agree. Yes, language is a reality construct. We indeed live in somebody else's melting pot. Yeah, nobody, not even he, has his own culture. We are dominated by his media, his corporate media. So everybody is pulled out of his culture and stuffed into jeans and sneakers and a hoodie worldwide. If not the Western image of dignity and professionality, meaning a tie. And I mean, a rope around our neck is not really our image of heroic and in control. If I'm speaking for myself, I think I agree with her. Yeah, language is a reality construct, but language does not mean that we need to speak Akan. I believe I commented that we don't need to speak Akan, Swahili, Yoruba, Wolof, or whatever to speak our language. When we speak, when you are, there is a first person, right? So when we live in the West and when we speak, who is the first person? That's what's important. So if your first person is in control, if your first person is aware of the words that leave your mouth, in other words, if you are aware, if you are conscious, then you will automatically speak the right language. And it could be, the carrier could be English, but the right language to me is something else than speaking Swahili or Akan or Creole or whatever. If you are following me.
Yeah, you're right. 1 second, my people. You're right. I don't think language is that much of a gap as long as people are taught correctly. You feel me? You can say black consciousness in Tree or Afghan. You can say black consciousness in whatever language. You feel me? And it will work. However, I suggest we all, as one people, speak one language. I would suggest that. And there are even two language. So I would suggest we speak either goddamn Swahili for the East and maybe Hausa for the West. You feel me? But something gotta give. Mm, that's it about language.
So Chokwe had to drop. Buana, it says your mic and cam /cam is not connected, so you need to connect that for me to let you on. I don't know what's going on, but did I get to everyone on this topic?
Can I say one thing real quick? I'm so glad I'm loving this conversation. I mean, I'm loving this because one of the things is it's definitely that I really appreciate about it is that we're questioning the narratives that we were indoctrinated with. We're questioning the concepts we were indoctrinated with. Like, and I love when my brother said, who said that the Africans were the first people? I mean, I just love it, even though I believe we were, and we're the only. The thing is all the stuff that we were taught by colonizers, through the centuries. Now we're starting to say, wait a minute, nah, I want to find my own. I want to get my own information. And that's so important. That's part of the most important thing you can do, because a child does that when it's first learning, is for us to find our own, irrespective. I still don't believe that they landed on the moon. I still don't think that dinosaurs are, 50 or 60 feet. I don't believe anything they said. Doesn't matter.
I don't believe that.
That you guys are questioning and really trying to find your own out of, or as Mwalimu K. Baruti says, trying not to swim in a sea of insanity and not get wet. But I just wanted to go ahead and put that out there for you.
Good stuff, MG2. Buana is back. Buana, you've heard the conversation everyone else had. What say you?
Buana's back, but now he's internet.
Well, your mic might be muted.
We hear you.
Juan, are you back? If you are, your mic is probably muted.
Can I add some? In the meantime, can I share my second half of what I wanted to say? Yes, language is a reality construct. Everything we think we know comes from him. But wait a minute, does it come from him? Electricity exists, right? And the word electricity is English, probably with a Latin background. But electricity exists, right? It's there. So when we speak, let it be with awareness. This ape, when he arrived at our shores, he arrived us and our civilization and our science, right? But he refused to name it from the angle that we named it and viewed it and spoke about it and shared, right? So now we are in his angle. But the science is still the same. The planets are round. This planet is a ball. Cold is cold. Warm is warm. right? Even if I speak it in English, it's correct. Cold is cold, warm is warm. So where I am on is not in particularly speak our language, because when we speak our language, there will be a village and a clan, right? There's things that were mentioned before in this conversation. So the village grows the child, or you call it a clan, right? So the clan will see it from another angle. So as long as if and with that I mean, if you speak Swahili, eventually there will be clans. If the whole continent speaks Swahili, but in the north it's desert, in the middle it's rainforest, and in the south it's again dry. You just know that in 1,000 years those three regions will speak the same language, but not the same language, because on a daily basis they will have other subjects. They will touch other subjects. So it's not in particularly the language. It's not it. When I hear us speak about this subject, I don't think of Swahili, but I think of what people call on code. If we respect, if we speak of science from the African perspective, we are not speaking of what we learned from him. Yes, I was born in 69, and electricity was already defined worldwide with the word electricity. So I was born into the word electricity, but I can still talk in Swahili, use the word electricity, and everybody that participates in the conversation knows what I'm talking about. So the knowledge will always be there. It's not that because we use European words that it's something else. Right? But in our underbelly, are we present in our underbelly? You know, we lost the word woke. Aware. Are we aware of what
but
we
the
speak?
lady, what the lady,
When we speak, are we present in our head when we hear our own voice? That's my concern about language, and when we talk to each other or communicate with each other. Are we there when we communicate with each other? It doesn't matter what language we use.
I want to disagree. Hold on, real quick. I disagree with what you're saying, bro. This is what I was saying, Josie. What I was saying is this: you talking about the planets around. Who told you the planets were round? Show me in your ancestors' book that they were talking about Jupiter, Venus, and all of that.
This is
no,
exactly.
May I see that the planets are round, bro.
No,
Come
no,
on, man.
Stop
looking at ancient aliens on History Channel. We could look up in the sky, and you could visually see Venus. You can see Saturn.
No, you can't. No, you can't. That's what
Yes,
they told
you
you it was.
can.
May I react?
Hold on. You see, hold on.
May I react? May I react? Because he reacted on me. He reacted on me. May I react? May I react? He reacted on me.
No.
Yes, may I? Okay, so
I can wait for Jose. Jose, speak on it.
Okay. Okay, so what Ozuli is doing is exactly what I mean. Science is still there. What Ozuli, what you are doing is you are now in his space. This discussion about a flat Earth or a round Earth, you are in his space. You with your mind, you are not here in this conversation. This is exactly what I mean. So Ozuli, thank you for demonstrating what can go wrong.
And we don't have to get mad. Listen to this now. You feel me? All right, this is what I have to say, right? We need to,
No, I can. You just cut a man off from talking. Let the man finish his thought, and then you can say your part. Jose, are you done your thought?
I was almost. Uzuli demonstrated exactly what I am talking about. So this discussion between flat Earth and round Earth doesn't make sense. We are here in our awareness. Yes, and we can study the things, right? So if it's defined in German or French or English, doesn't matter. The science is still there. We are here, so we can grab the science with all our awareness, not with our Swahiliness, Akanness, Creoleness, but with our awareness, we can grab science again and actually speak about science, not his narrative and his discussions. You understand? So, Urzuli, thank you for demonstrating of what I understand about speaking our language. So, even if we were speaking Swahili, you could stop this conversation with that flat earth, round earth conversation. And in Swahili, it would still be a European problem. The science is there. We are here, be it flat or a sphere. We can actually touch reality. That's what I. That's what I speak of. If we are speaking communication, I don't care if it's Swahili or Dutch or German. If we touch the actual reality, you know what I'm saying. So while communicating, we control our communication. You know what I'm saying. Then we can get back to reality. Every subject that we touch, we end in his discussion. The discussion, woman or man. No, man as in the species, man is a woman and a child and a man. That's man. But when we touch the subject, be it Swahili or English, we are coming from his narrative. That's the only thing that can be wrong when we communicate among each other. Awareness. Am I in my head as I speak and listen? Thank you.
All right, I can fire. Keep it brief for me. Then Ozuli, and then Boy will have the last commentary.
Yeah, I have no problem with what Josie said. My issue is we are not Europeans. You feel me? So I actually don't think I'm short of anything speaking English. I think knowledge wise. You feel me? But the only thing is, it's not a private language. It's not our language. You feel me? So it's generalized. It's generally in other races. So therefore, linguistically, we don't have privacy. You feel me? And I think privacy is good. So that's why I'm all for an African language. You feel me? I'm all for. I think that and practicing it will get as diverse as English, where we can name scientific objects, and we can name scientific mixtures. You feel me? And we can name inventions and all that in our language. You feel me? So, but I think we should have a private language like Swahili and also like a large West African language. You feel me? Or everybody just goddamn speak Swahili. So the rest of the world, of course, there'll be a few, and it's translatable that know our language. But on a majority level, not everyone in Europe will know Swahili. You feel me? So a lot of our mystic culture, our secrecy can stay within our race. You feel me? But nothing is wrong with. I don't think speaking another language it means that you cannot compute. You feel me? And as Josie said, loyalty is an action word. So act with loyalty, and that goes beyond all languages. You feel me? love your black skin and your black hair, and that goes above all languages. You feel me? So that's my view on that.
Appreciate that. I can Razuli, I'll let you respond, and then Buana, you take it.
What I'm saying is this. Again, every time I come on this, it seems to me that people cannot grasp what I'm saying, but whatever. What I'm saying, electricity, yes, everybody sees electricity. Electricity is called electricity because of the Latin, wherever that word comes. What is electricity in your respective language? I don't know what it is. The brother who's from who's Nigerian, what do you call electricity in your thing? I'm not debating that you could call. What I'm saying is, because Jose is acting like, oh, I proved his point. Show me in your text before colonization that they were talking about Jupiter or this and that DNA evolution.
All that is in Egypt. All that is in Egypt, bro. They learned it from us.
It's just we're not talking about no Big Bang Theory.
Why people learn all of that stuff from us, bro? Bro, why people learn all of that stuff from us? Stop. Just stop. If you don't know nothing, just don't talk. Egypt have created all of that about the atmosphere before white men came out of the caves. If you
studying Newt and Geb, they were studying the stars.
So black people have all of those knowledge, my bro. So calm down.
So show me where in the African, like in the Igbo and the Zulus, show me where they talking about evolution, dinosaurs, Big Bang Theory. Show me that. Until then, this is what I believe that young lady was talking about. We question everything. I don't care if you want to tell me that the Europeans got it from Egypt. I don't care about that. Show it to me in plain sight. Until then, I'm just saying, like the brother had said previously, I'm questioning everything. That's what I think.
What about the Dogon? What about the Dogon? Do you
ask him? Does he know about the Dogon people? Do you know about the Dogon people?
The Dogon said the earth was rotating.
Okay, you don't know about the Dogon people.
No,
the Dogon people that studied.
Hold on.
Who told you the Dogon say that? Did you speak with the Dogon?
Okay, what's the Dogon?
The Dogon, bro, hold on. The Dogon people are African people that saw a star.
Bro, you don't have to educate me on that. I know who.
He knows.
Did you know about the Dogon? Who told you about the Dogon?
Why does the people?
It's white people. White people.
It makes sense.
Bro, no, let it go. Let it go. Let it go.
You guys could speak after you finish.
Dinah Samir told us about the Dogon.
I don't want to hear about that cool ass nigga Dinah Samir. But the Dogon people.
But he still told us. He still went there and told us.
And drifted money out of people. Yeah, whatever.
Can I interject real quick? I love Erzuli's way of thinking. I love that. Just question everything. But in terms of Dogon, they're one of the most significant Africans on the planet. Okay, because not only the scientific discoveries, especially if you watch Dr. Ivan van Sertima, but you could even go back to where the first computer chip was made. West Africans, all computer chips are based on a binary system that West Africans, basically brought to the world. We're talking Dogon. You still see it in Nigeria in the game of Mancala. I play Mancala a lot in Ghana, Nigeria, Senegal, and that's basically how all computer chips were based on what they call gate logic. So that came from a Dogon aspect of the, when Africans do divination, it's what, which is real big in West Africa. That literally goes back to the days of the Dogon. I mean, we are so incredible as a people that even though we haven't, a lot of this knowledge has been, erased from a lot of folks. If you go back and you look at this, I love Erzuli's way of thinking. Question what everybody else was telling us. When you start to go ahead and see exactly the depths, whether it's the Ishango bone or the Lumumbo bone, the world's first calculators, it's going to blow your mind in terms of all the things that we were indoctrinated or taught or whatever. It goes out the window when you start to see. That's why I say we're an incredible people. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and pass the mic.
Anyway, my bro. My Haitian bro.
Can I have the mic back?
Oh. 1 second to my Haitian bro. Study black people who study Africa. Listen to those people. I don't really listen to white people. I listen to my black historians, and I have full confidence in the ancient black historian, not the new ones, not the native ones.
Yes, can I speak?
Hold on, Azuli. I'm going to end it after this topic. I want Buana to give his piece, and then I'll ask for last thoughts, and you could do that. Buana, if you can speak.
One, two. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Good.
Good. Yeah, that white woman fixed it for you. That's good. We can hear you.
Yeah, all y'all jump for that comedian. I got something for everyone who's been trolling me tonight. Needless to say, let me answer provide triggers, because provide triggers created this prompt specifically for something that I said. So I really want to address her to clear up some things that I had to basically say on this topic. So the sister in this prompt, she mentioned two philosophers. She mentioned Foucault, which is a homosexual Frenchman. I ain't gonna go there. He's a French philosopher. And she mentioned Franz Fanon, which was a Martinican philosopher. Now, the first thing I would say is this: a revolutionary person from France and a revolutionary person from the Caribbean, they have a big difference in how they see a revolutionary.
Two different.
A vast difference. So when Franz Fanon talk about a revolutionary mindset, and Foucault talk about a revolutionary mindset, understand first that they talk about two different things. My grudge with Franz Fanon, even though I like Franz Fanon, when Franz Fanon and a lot of the philosophers and speakers talk, they talk about what's wrong with the reality. And I have no problem with that. But they don't never talk about the alternative to that reality. You know, you have to provide, when you take the rug from someone's feet, you must have something to replace that with. Because if you don't have something to replace that with, you're going to create a void. And if where there's a void, someone will come along and fill that void, whether it's by another westernized philosophy or some craziness. So you have to have some grounding of how you replace that void. Now, they talk about language. Language is important, very important. I study 2 different languages outside of the language that I currently speak. Okay? And when you learn language, you learn that there's a culture. Spanish and French besides English. I trying to study up on African languages right now with Twi, but that's a whole other Twi ain't really that difficult. Let me don't get into that. But let me say this. Yes, you could talk about languages and speaking in your cultural native language, but how do you address the people where their language has been taken away from them? I am from the Caribbean. My mother tongue was taken away from me. Franz Fanon in the same way. We deal with our own little colloquialisms. And with all the French philosophy, white mask, blackface, or whatever, right? Franz Fanon never wrote that book in his local Creole language. Just like how you have the Jamaicans have their own books where they have their own language, where they have their own parochial language inside of it, because the rank and file so-called educated person may not understand certain things in certain ways. How we express the English language and the meaning of it is completely different sometimes from the Europeans. The Americans say, that's bad, man, that's bad. But the meaning of bad in our colloquial term is completely different from how they mean bad. You understand what I mean? So language is important, but how you derive meaning from that language also is important too. So you have to speak to the people who you actually talking to. Are you talking to? And you have to speak to them in a way where they can understand you. In Jamaica, they use the term, and let me also say this. there are some words in the English language, or what we use in English terms, that some expressions that we have, it go outside of the English language because it's like it's undefinable. It's expressing an African sentiment. But you can't express it in an English way. Like how the Jamaicans say, "Bomba clad." You know what I mean? That's not an English term. We say in the Bahamas, "Belmota sick." You know why we say that? Because there are some expressions in the English language that we can't express. We can't really express until we have to express it outside of the English language because we are African people. So we express it in an African sentiment. It goes outside of the English language because it don't necessarily have that English meaning. You know what I mean? So I personally think that when you are trying, first of all, when you are trying to use this term revolutionary in terms of that and taken away, you must replace it with something. That's first and foremost. The second thing is, if you say you want to speak to your people and get them to understand your people, you have to speak to your people where they are. And I am asking the people like France and on them, where's the Creole, the Martinique Creole, white mask and black faces? Because I don't see that. Because you ain't speaking to me, you're speaking to the French. So I just want to be very, very clear, very, very clear when I say that. I hope I was clear provide triggers in trying to explain what you were trying to do with that prompt. That's all I got to say. Your brothers the roll.
Any last thoughts on this prompt before we close? Before we go to shout outs tonight?
Yes.
Yeah, I have something to say.
All right, Uzuli then Joseph.
This is the funny thing. If I told you, if I told you that my aunt used to, at midnight, she used to fly, turn into a eagle and fly every night in Haiti, y'all tell me I'm bullshitting. Y'all tell me that's bullshit. Y'all tell me that's impossible. This is what black science is. Voodoo is what black science is. But all y'all people on here will tell me, "Oh, prove it. That's not you. How could you do that?" Y'all don't know shit about science. All the science you know is what the people that you claim oppress you taught you. If I tell you that my grandma used to go from Brooklyn to California in 30 minutes without plane, without thing, you tell me I'm bullshitting. But now y'all want to talk to me about science. That's all I have to say.
I think what you're doing, like, and I'm from the Caribbean, but I wasn't born there. But I have a Guyanese friend that grew up there and a Jamaican that grew up there. What Zulu is talking about is stories similar to that. I see my uncle fly the other one night in a full moon night. The man just take off. I'm like, what the hell? We all have stories like that. But I think what you're confusing is you got to understand science is the tool and mechanism of understanding the natural world. What you're talking about is the unnatural world. You know what I'm saying? You're talking about a whole other realm. It could be parallel to science. You know what I'm saying? Because what you're talking about is mysticism, not necessarily science. That's all I have to say.
Brother,
let me answer
mysticism is a way to disrespect black science.
When you say I'm not gonna fight you on that, but I'm just saying that it's two different disciplines. Like they could be parallel to each other, but at the end of the day, because for lack of a better term, without going off other places, because I do believe I'm not gonna say what you're saying is bullshit at all. Hell no, because too much of us have these stories. Too much of us have these stories. So I'm not gonna write that off. But all I'm gonna say is that you have that, and then you have science. That's all that I'm saying.
Yeah. Can I say something, Mr. Host?
Yeah, but I need you to stop talking over people. Just wait your time, then interject. But go ahead.
Yeah. Thank you. Zulu. We are black conscious people for the most part on this panel. Of course, we know about voodoo and we know about that type of science. You feel me? And it is science. Because we are colonized people, and and it is in the hands of colonized people, and colonized people are white lovers and technically black haters, then it's not working for us, even in Haiti and Jamaica and Africa, because it's in the wrong it's in the wrong hands. It's in the wrong hands because the hands have the wrong mindset. You feel me? So therefore, it's almost sometimes working against us. You feel me? Especially right now in Nigeria. You feel me? It's working against us because we are not black conscious, where we can use it for our benefit and not for our demise. You feel me? That's how the pyramids was built. You feel me? Spirits lift up big rocks because we had that type of science, including natural science. You feel me? Like mathematics. You feel me? So, but we of course we can conquer the world with natural science, but it would be a plus if voodoo was in black conscious hands. You feel me? Right now, voodoo is in some bleach out Christian maniac hands, and also some Arab maniac fanatic hands. You feel me? Some black Arab lover hands. So our minds, we are actually out of our minds. You feel me? So our minds need a reset. My answer to that is we have to finance it. We have to finance our educational reset. We have to find a way. These are the things we need to do as black people. Find a way how to finance our education so we can implement black conscious education for both male and female. You feel me? That's the only way we can go, because if we don't stop each other from killing each other, we not gonna go nowhere because we living around enemies. You feel me? It don't matter the language either. We need to learn black love and black appreciation and black just a love for each other. We need to find a way how to avoid our take some, not spread our love so wide, because we have a lot of our people to love. So somehow we have to cut down. We have to teach cutting down the love for other races, in terms of the equal love for other races. It's like, how can you give somebody else equal love to your mama? And that type of stuff. It's not like you don't love other people, you feel me? But you love your mama more. And that's how that's how we should treat Africa. And I think if we treat Africa like that, Africa eventually gonna get a conscience and give us back. And I notice a trend where Africans are vocalizing the respect for Jamaica because of reggae music and the impact it had on them. So, okay.
Appreciate that, man. Provide Trigger says to Buana, nonetheless, the essence or substance of the prompt is still relevant to the matter of, y'all know the word, it's too late for me right now, sovereignty. Fundamentally, the point of the prompt is that our revolution, I'm sorry, I lost the thing, is that our revolution still needs to be epistemic. Your points are well taken, though. So before you guys leave tonight, man, like I said, this is the last prompt for tonight. I'd like to get you guys' shout outs for this week. Those of you who are still here. So let's quickly do. I think Jackador may have left already. I'm not certain.
I'm still here.
No. All right. Jack, give your shout out for the week for me, please.
Yeah, man. First, happy Independence Day to Nigeria.
I know that they, it's Nigeria, so they got a lot going on. But happy Independence Day. You look around the world, a lot of doctors, a lot of engineers, man, a lot of individuals in the STEM field are either Nigerian or of Nigerian descent. And then even in your sports, especially your American sports, there was like a recent study that showed, man, I'm not going to give a number, but there was a good statistic on current and former Nigerian or Nigerian descent players in the NFL. So that's pretty proud. Second one, this is not a shout out, but more of like a rest in peace. There was an there was a collegiate player for LSU that took his own life earlier this year. And who knows why he took his life, but a lot of it points to is that when he was driving his vehicle, there was an accident that happened on his path, but he wasn't the cause. But police in Louisiana were trying to frame him and setting him up for homicide charges, vehicular homicide to be specific. So he took his life, but video evidence by his lawyer was just released, and it would have exonerated him. Had even there would have been had even he had been proven guilty in the court of law, there would have been a mistrial. Why this is important, why I bring this up, is because here's a statistic for those that don't know. 53 of exonerations meaning individuals that have been sent to prison or jail and then later on found innocent of their crimes because of either faulty evidence or going back and having witness testimony not being accurate. 53% of exonerations in the United States are of Black inmates. 53%. 53% of the time that inmates getting out because they are proven to be innocent of the crimes that put them in prison are of Black men. And really, really sad to see. It's something that we here at the Empowerment Network, for those that don't know, I'm out of Omaha, Nebraska, and I'm on behalf of the Empowerment Network. And it's one of the things that we continue to work hard on. We got the mayor, the first Black mayor of Omaha elected this year into office, a former police officer himself, but from North Omaha. And these are the things that when others that are outside the United States want to look at and see on how the Black community is doing, how they're faring, we're trying each and every day. So last shout out being the Empowerment Network. If you're watching on the screen, it's what you see. And then for those that are just listening, visit www.empoweromaha.com.
Appreciate that, Jackadero. With that said, me from Black Steel. What would you like to shout out this week?
Well, Jackadero actually did kind of steal what I was going to mention.
He stole mine.
Yeah, I definitely was going to mention that. But shout out to my Black people in Chicago, going through ICE raids. Shout out. So basically, the president has basically had a military force basically in many majority Black cities in the United States. So New Orleans, DC, Baltimore, so on and so forth. Black people were either going to have to become guerrillas or refugees pretty soon. So that's all I got to say. Thanks.
Appreciate that, Black Steel. Julius, what would you like to shout out this week?
I wanted to shout out this. I want to shout out this lady. She's like a mother. I forgot. I was trying to see her name on Instagram, but this Haitian lady, she's like she's teaching Haitian to people, but it's like PBS, how they do it. They used to do it with the puppets, and it's like, and she's just a mother, and she's trying to teach all her kids, and it's like that's the spirit we need to be into. Like she's teaching. I forgot. I was looking for it to give her a shout out, but she's like a mother of 3, and she's doing these little short videos and having her kids say the words in English and then in Haitian. Just some of the words that I forgot. Now I'm going back and following some of her stuff, and she's doing it I guess this is the part that ties back to what semi kind of time, even though we know Haitian is a mixture of French, Spanish, English, and some African syntax or whatever, but it's still, I think it's still powerful in that. So Haitian mother, I forgot, I can't, next time I'll give the name. But after that, what my brother spoke about, that football player that took his life, because this, now that's, I might say something that's crazy, but that, I feel the young, I'm not trying, I don't know if that young man should have just kept going, bro. You know you was not wrong. And then when you see the video, the young man's lawyer put, how did you, this is crazy. The man was like not even next to the accident. Young man, call a brother, call a cousin, call Bakari. Speak to somebody. Don't just take your life like that and let these punks win. And I'm not trying to blame the brother because brother, when you're not wrong, don't compromise, bro. When I saw that story and I saw the lawyer was, this is crazy. And I bet you that officer is not gonna get disciplined like he should be because he's in the video coaxing another one of the brothers that was in the accident. Tell us it was the green charger. Make sure you and shout out to that brother. The brother said, nope, it wasn't him. It was the lady behind me that caused the accident. And that's such a terrible story. Not terrible, like the brother took his life. Brother, the truth is on your side. Anyway, man, I shout out to this whole discussion we had today and everybody in there. I listened to all your points and maybe sometimes it may look like I'm not taking it in, but hey, when I get off the show, I think about it. Hey, he got a point. All right, man, shout out.
Appreciate that, Azuli. MG2, what would you like to shout out this week? Anything positive in your world or the African world?
When you get my age, every day you wake up is positive, believe me. First and foremost, I got to give you guys a shout out. I mean, that is, and most of the reason I got to give you guys the ultimate shout out is because not only do you recognize what's been done wrong or where we stand as a people, whether it's, the first topics, when we're talking about our relationships, or the second topics, when, basically it doesn't matter, or if you want to get into epistemic, revolution. I'm digging the fact that you guys are asking the questions that need to be answered. And I definitely have to appreciate you guys bringing up Kyron Lacey. Okay, because that young brother, again, there's a lot of us, because brothers, I got to be real with you. We're at war. And we know it, and I got to thank Black still. Like Black, either you're going to be guerrillas or refugees. And I'll add something to it. You'll either be an inmate in a concentration camp. So you're going to have one of the three happen to you. The thing is I appreciate that the fact that you guys know, but one thing you might have to recognize is it's a formula I say. We start out being convenience, then we go to comfort, then we go to complacency, which breeds laziness, which is a disease that poverty soon overtakes. And I'm not talking about economic poverty. What I'm saying is because we've been convenienced from being indoctrinated by devils, as Amos Wilson would say, we have lost the ability to go ahead and do. So we become lazy. And the outcome is the ICE raids in Chicago, where they shot a sister earlier. I think it was a Black woman that they shot earlier. The outcome is, most Black folks losing their so-called government job and getting benefits taken away. The outcome is what they're starting to do, like when they put all those young Black children in a van. They took the children away and put them in a van while they were going, again, this is a supposed ICE raids, but these were Black children. So this is, the thing is it's no different than what demons have done to us 300, 400 years ago. Okay, the only thing that's changed is the calendar date. But the thing I give you guys a shout out is because you recognize it. There's not a lot of folks that are like you guys that be able to recognize the situation. And then there are not a lot of folks like you guys that are gonna want to do something about it, like Black Steel said. So the thing is, and definitely I got to give a shout out to Erzuli, because Erzuli's speaking my language and is speaking my mind constantly in terms of the frame of reference. One of the major things I just have to leave you guys, I'm very loquacious, but one of the major things I have to leave you guys with is, irrespective of what we think or opinions we have or whatever, know that you are at in an existential, I'm going to say it again, in an existential war, not just you individually, but I'm talking your friends, your family, even your own psychologically and your peace of mind. You are at war right now, because right now, the individuals I'm going to give an anti-shout out to are the ones that are controlling and causing these problems, because I hope that what's going on right now, it'll make us go ahead and look at each other and say, okay, not only as Brother Forecast say, we're all we got, but hopefully we'll look at each other and say, as Black Steel, we'll become gorillas and we're going to stop this. So anyways, I respect y'all. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you for coming through. Trigger Happy says, shout out to Neferkari Dessalines on his new series. I think he covered the LSU player. But Bakari says, shout out to me for hosting. Shout out to the panel and the chat. I echo that. In fact, my shout out is to Brother Bakari, who keeps me informed. He told me about ICE killing a Black woman in Chicago today. I spoke to him earlier. He put me on. So shout out to Brother Bakari. Afro-Native World says, shout out to Mama Marimba Ani, who participated and spoke at the National Race First Convention and has continued to work in her 80s. War Drum says, shout out to me, the panel in the chat. Shout out to the ancestors and the Neteru. With that said, Joseph, what would you like to shout out this week?
Yeah, I had a lot of time, and I'm digging in my dome. Maybe it's the pound of Cali Shake that I've been smoking past week, but I can't think of anything. So shout out to you. And you in the panel, you plural, and us plural. So you for hosting, you the panel, and us Black folks. Shout out.
Appreciate you, Jose. Buana, last but not least, what would you like to shout out this week?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I have a lot of shout outs. So first of all, shout out to Jacadero. Jacadero, I know you're going to a birthday party tonight. Please tell Bud Crawford happy birthday. Happy birthday.
But it was his birthday last week. All right, real quick, not to interrupt you, Buana, but also Bud, if those that didn't see the news, the night of his birthday, he was actually pulled over and held at gunpoint for having a legally owned firearm in his vehicle. Luckily for all of us, for fans of Bud and for the state of Nebraska, he didn't get shot. But again, this is things that us at the Empowerment Network, we're working diligently on.
Yeah, so shout out to Erzuli as well. He had a good time tonight trolling me. And when I start trolling him, please don't get angry and disappear for another 5 years. I like when you're around from time to time to comment and have contributions. But don't get upset when I start trolling you, because you trolled me tonight. But on a serious note, I enjoyed the diversity of opinion. I know some of my brothers from the left and the right don't like the comments that was made, but this is the only way you grow. And Marcus Garvey created the Universal Negro Improvement Association. Universal. That means you get ideas and ideologies from all quarters. This is what strengthens you and make you stronger. This is the way you understand your enemy and you understand yourself, and you start manipulating the world around you. The Universal Improvement Association. So I appreciate the diversity of opinion. I appreciate, no matter from what quarters, we'll have to address it. We are men. Our shoulders are broad enough to be able to handle the challenges of different opinions. I'll leave that there. Lastly, I will also say to the brother who talk about the brother who committed, who unalived themselves. Okay, never make a permanent decision over a temporary problem or issue. See, death is final. Death, you can't go back from death. You could go back from a bad decision. You could go back from injustice and people who mistreat you. But when you make a permanent decision, there's no going back from that. There's no correcting that. So I would only advise to for my brothers and sisters who listen on the panel, never make a permanent decision over a temporary problem or issue. Think twice. Talk to somebody. Have a conversation. Maybe the next day may be completely different from the day you experience it. So I've been in them situations too. Yeah, I've been in horrible situations where I didn't see no way out of it, but I still here. So don't make permanent decisions over a temporary problem. That's the only thing I would leave the chat with. I'll leave it there.
Appreciate that, boy. I appreciate all you guys who joined the panel tonight. Shout out to Kofi, Chuck Wu, Ike and Fire, and Brother Bakari who are on the panel. My personal shout out is to fair, balanced, nuanced critique and conversation. And I'll leave it there. We need to do that more often. Have fair, balanced, and nuanced conversations. I hope that next week we can have a kind of a better conversation with the topics that will be coming next week. In the meantime, you guys be good, though. Check out all the shows on KWAZ Radio. Check out all the panelists who have shows as well, like MG2. Until then, though, you guys be good. I'll see y'all next week. Maybe Jacadero will host next week. I'm kind of burnt out tonight, but we'll talk about it next time. All right, you guys be good in the meantime. Peace.
Thanks for listening to the Bitter Medicine Podcast with your host, Koku. If you like what you just heard, we hope you pass along our web address, bittermedicineblogs.com, to your friends and colleagues, and share our show to all your social media. Be sure to check out our archive section on our website for previous podcasts. This has been a KWAZ radio production. Join us next time for another session of the Bitter Medicine Podcast. Follow us on Facebook at Bitter Medicine Show, Twitter, Bitter Meds, Tumblr, Bitter Meds, Instagram, Bitter Medicine. Thanks for listening to the Bitter Medicine Podcast with your host, Koku. If you like what you just heard, we hope you pass along our web address, bittermedicineblogs.com, to your friends and colleagues, and share our show to all your social media. Be sure to check out our archive section on our website for previous podcasts. This has been a KWAZ radio production. Join us next time for another session of the Bitter Medicine Podcast. Follow us on Facebook at Bitter Medicine Show, Twitter, Bitter Meds, Tumblr, Bitter Meds, Instagram, Bitter Medicine.